Drivers and Danica, start your engines!
Pull those belts down tight one more time. Warm up those tires. Hit your marks and let's go racing, boys and girls. NASCAR, Indycar, Formula One, Formula E, NHRA, and local dirt track and drag strip racing talk. This is the fastest hour in radio.
Where'd you go? Where's your home? How'd you end up all alone? Can you hear me now? Hear me.
Here's your host, Steve West and Dustin Harmer, with producer John Myers.
I keep waiting for another name to be added onto that.
Getting to it.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, maybe I'll have to do it myself.
No.
Just like I had to re-edit this one, so, you know.
You didn't re-edit this one.
Want to
Brought
bet?
it down a couple dB.
Did I have to load it in and save it again? That's re-edit. Thank you very much.
Good morning, John.
I'm not sure about that either.
Yeah, I know. We had a discussion outside the door this morning when I arrived. As I was bouncing up to the door.
Yeah, you morning
Literally
person.
bouncing?
Yes,
I was.
He was a morning person.
I was extremely chipper this morning.
Irritating.
Thinking about donuts.
He's really thought way too much, by the way, about donuts.
I've pondered that. I'm trying to figure out who's right and who's wrong.
I mean, if you're friends with Dustin on Facebook, you kind of get where we're going with this. I had to look it up because I didn't realize it until he brought it to my attention. Apparently, you looked up how many different ways there are to spell the word donuts.
Yeah, well, it wasn't that. It was the fact that I checked in up here at Crawford Broadcasting, of course.
Okay.
And I put time to make the donuts. And as I was typing it, I'm like, why does that
By
not
the way,
look
nice
right?
Dunkin' Donuts reference.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't think about that. So I was sitting there and I'm like, why does this look wrong? This looks wrong. Why am I typing this wrong?
How did you spell it in the first place where it looked wrong to you?
Well, at first I had Dounuts, and I'm like, that's wrong.
That's wrong, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's,
Yeah, and then
that's
I had
Donuts.
And then I had Doughnut.
Okay,
That
that would
is
have
a
worked.
donut,
Yeah,
yes.
that would have worked.
And then then I went back, I'm like, no, that's wrong. And I went
You
D-O-N.
second guess the proper way of spelling dough.
Yes.
Nuts.
Look, I'm a Marine, okay?
That's why he's so poor.
We always second guess everything.
He can't get
Unless
the dough.
there's a gun in our hand.
Okay, so you went to a search engine?
I did. Yes, I did. I went to the wonderful world of Google.
Because we know that's always right.
Yeah, exactly. Considering the fact that Google has decided to change the definition of fascism, I'm not
should've
so
just-
certain I would have taken their spelling.
I
for
guess I should
granted.
have just went to, like, Wikipedia.
You know, there's online dictionaries.
Well, there is, and I didn't think about that because I was
Literally,
Not
if you type in
really
dictionary.com, you're good to go.
Webster's.
Yeah, I've got an app on my phone.
Thanks,
It's a free
guys.
app.
I feel so wonderful. this morning.
Merriam-Webster's dictionary app. It's free.
Oh, it's free?
It's free. You can have it right on your smartphone.
Okay.
And I know
Well,
you got one.
Yeah, I've got one. It's not really smart. I mean, it is pretty dumb.
It's only as
but-
smart as the user.
I was going to say.
No, it turns. No. This thing turns off on its own. It's possessed. I'm telling you. It needs they
but-
need to exorcise the demons or something. I don't know on that thing.
But you're sold on that brand, I note.
No. Well, I'm looking up new brands. What is this? Pick on Dustin morning?
You're bright and cheery. Sure, why not?
I am. Why not? So after I went to Google
And found 4 different spelling.
I
4.
was even more
I
confused.
can think of 2.
I was even more confused, and I just went with one. But then I had to change the status to, do you realize how many ways there are to spell donuts? And put pondering that now. Good morning, Steve.
One of the
Morning.
reasons I don't do Facebook. Thank you very much.
Yeah. I didn't realize there were 4.
I
That's
didn't.
the
I
thing
can think
that
of 2.
freaks me out. I can go with 2.
It's
4?
it is. It's.
I've never heard of 4.
I've
I've
never
always
t-
known of 2.
You know what I've realized in the past 5 minutes that we've started this show? I'm never sharing again.
Okay, I take that back. I've actually thought of a third. If you go with Mel Brooks out of History of the World Part 1, where in the early Roman days they spelled nuts NVTS.
Yeah. Well, okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
Okay,
See?
so I've got 3.
There you go.
I have no idea about a 4th.
Look, it was on Google. Okay, that's all I can tell you.
More reason not to trust them. Hi, good morning to you. Welcome into the fastest hour in radio. I'm Steve West. That is Dustin Harmer. Matt down at the end of the
Good
table
morning.
been nothing but laughing so far today.
And it continues that trend.
Yes, exactly.
And it's going to continue.
Is it warm in here?
It feels actually a little bit warm. Now that you mention it, it's a lot of hot air blowing around. John, how are you, sir?
I'm doing okay.
Okay, I understand. Yeah, it's one of those mornings, right?
Oh, yeah.
This
I got
donut talk's making me hungry.
Really. Look at it this way, though. For racing fans,
Yeah.
we've made it to the month. We're into February.
Yes, we are.
We've made it.
We are.
It's just a couple of more weeks away.
There's only two important things that happen in the month of February:
Okay.
the racing season,
Yes.
and everybody has to buy very, very expensive chocolate and roses.
I don't know. For some people who
I don't.
For some people who are not Dallas Cowboy fans, there's an important thing going on tomorrow.
What would that be?
Got it.
There's a rather large football game that's being played tomorrow.
That's not important.
Really?
Not to you.
We're gonna go there?
Not at all. Dustin, I'm
What?
on your side here.
Yeah, no.
It's
no,
not. It's
I'm
not
talking about
important.
him.
Yeah.
It's not important.
I
It's
went
not
there.
important. Falcons win. Game over. Okay. Moving on.
I'm actually hoping for a very good game. I really am.
I am.
I'm
I don't
want
to see. I don't want to see a blowout.
I
I
don't
know
either.
this is a racing show, but I don't want to see a blowout. I want to see an actual game, and I don't want to see controversial calls or really, really big plays. Seahawks against the Steelers that get drugged back down the field after they make a touchdown, going nope, nope, nope. He moved.
Yeah.
And ruin the whole game. I
Well-
just want to see a good knockdown, drag out game.
Yeah, and I'm agreeing with you on this as well. In the fact, I don't want to see the refs make it about them.
Yeah, I don't want to see the refs win the
Let 'em
Super
play.
Bowl. I want to see the team win the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
Exactly,
let them
yeah.
play. That's the
Exactly.
important part. But first things first, I know we don't cover the Tudor United Sports Car Series on a regular basis, but you know what? 24 hours of Daytona, we haven't really had the chance to talk much actual on-track racing, so we're going to talk about it. Also, it doesn't hurt that some NASCAR and Indycar drivers get a chance to run the endurance event as well. We're just going to talk about the overall winner, Wayne Taylor Racing, most dominating team in the event. As it went through the final hour of the race, though, they actually were trailing Action Express in a battle of two Cadillac teams. Rick Taylor, behind the wheel for the anchor leg of one of the WTR entries, drove hard underneath the Action Express ride driven by Felipe Albuquerque. I didn't know that was a last name. I just knew it was a city in New Mexico.
I was not aware of that.
Yeah, well, but anyway, Albuquerque, they were going into turn one right at the end of pit road at Daytona as they were entering the road course portion of the speedway. They made contact and the Action ride goes spinning. Race stewards checked some video of the incident to see if they wanted to put out a penalty. They determined that it was merely a racing incident, plain and simple, allowed it to stand. By the way, Action Express not happy about that ruling.
Not at all.
No,
I wouldn't be
They
either.
were ticked.
Yeah, just a little.
Last I heard, they were still pondering whether to actually petition for another
gonna-
look. It's not going to happen.
They're going to lose.
Yeah.
The reason
Yeah.
the reason
It's not
is,
gonna
and
happen.
it was pointed out it's
Yeah.
so well over social media, even after the race, they dive bombed that corner.
Yeah.
And Wayne Taylor Racing, of course, they were in that spot.
Yeah.
So they
You can
basically
protest it
came
all you want. It's
right
not gonna
down.
do you any good.
It's not going to protest.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
protest it till the cows come home.
And that's the reason, by the way, why a lot of these racing sanctioning bodies like Tudor United Sports Car Series, NASCAR, if you're going to petition, they're going to make sure that you really, really mean it. You're going to have to pay for it.
Yes.
And it's not an insignificant check that you got to stroke to go with the petition to protest.
Yeah.
So I doubt seriously that they're going to do it. Yeah. Wayne Taylor Racing won their first 24 hours race since 2005, back when Wayne himself was still a driver. Made a winner of not only Ricky, but brother Jordan Taylor, longtime Wayne Taylor Racing driver Max Angelelli, and then their fourth driver, some guy you might have heard of.
What was that guy's name?
It's like
Some Gordon guy.
some guy that
Jeffrey or
used to run
something?
NASCAR.
Jeffrey?
Jeff Gordon?
Jeffrey Gordon.
Doesn't ring a bell.
Gordon.
Anyway, yeah, four-time Cup Series
Never heard of
champion. Now gets to add a 24 hours of Daytona win to his rather lengthy resume.
Which is pretty cool because the last time he ran this, they finished second.
2007, just that far
It's
away.
just so close. And the other good thing about this race was the fact that it actually wasn't just kind of a runaway.
That's true.
It was down.
pretty close.
It was down to the end.
Yeah,
So-
and I will say this about it as well. For those of you that are wondering exactly how much credit Jeff Gordon gets, he only drove about 4 to 5 hours of the entire event because Jeff's not used to running in the rain, and there was a whole lot of rain throughout the course of this 24-hour period.
Yeah,
last
overnight.
year.
That-
overnight, yeah.
the attrition
Yeah.
Oh,
casualties
yeah, it was horrible.
from the rain was just off the wall. Because I mean, they showed a video that was showing coming out of the chicane.
Yeah.
and it seemed like everybody was having an issue right there and hitting that wall.
Yeah. I mean, what you used to be able to do and speeding through that little chicane, you can't do that when it's wet out there.
Now,
It
water
doesn't
doesn't work well.
No, not at all. Not at all. Max Angelelli, by the way, is co-owner of Wayne Taylor Racing, stated that this is going to be his final race of his storied sports car career. He will remain active as a co-owner of the team, but he's also going to set to be working with Cadillac, can help them develop out their racing program. They seem to be off to a nice start.
Yeah.
Finished first and second in overall standings.
That's a very respectful way to start.
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
Most people like that.
That is a good thing.
Pretty good thing. So there you go. Let's get into other things here. We talked about it last week. This weird new stage thing that NASCAR's decided to go with, and now we're getting reports that NASCAR might be willing to add another flag to the ones that were so well known to racing fans all around the world. You got your green, your white, your checkered, your black, your red, your blue with the orange stripe offerings. We all know those.
Right.
Boy.
There seems to be another one on the horizon that will signify the end of the first or second segments of races. In other words, they're not just going to use the yellow and say, okay, end of segment 1.
Wouldn't that just make sense?
Yeah.
Never mind.
Think about that argument that you just set up.
Does
I know.
common sense exist in NASCAR anymore?
That's what I brought up last week, and as soon as I said it as it applied, I just
Friends.
yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be a flag that says, "Okay, everybody, turn around, and go the other way."
Friends. That's all you need to say. That's all you need to know.
Design of the new flag, what the color or colors are going to be, not been discussed. Hey, they got 3 weeks.
You know, they're going to overthink this, when all they really would need to do would basically be to put a 1, a 2 on the flags. Yeah. End of segment 1. Oh, that's a 1.
You know something I have seen pictures of?
What's that?
Green and white checkered flag.
I was about to mention that because Fox Sports 1, during their race hub, when they started going through this mess of things, and they were talking about the end of stage 1 and stage 2, they were showing a checkered flag, but instead of the blocks being black, they were green.
Okay, so what if you're colorblind?
Well, then a red flag, you're pretty much messed up then anyway, aren't
Well,
you?
yeah, but then you see black and white flag, and you think you won the race. You start doing spin outs on the front stretch.
That's what spotters are for.
Yeah. Hey, moron! You didn't win yet. It ain't over.
Easy.
We'll find out. I don't know. Like I said, this is just rumor. This is just several different reports going on. And since they were there, we wanted to make sure that you knew that this was a possibility. NASCAR has officially taken the name of the drivers off the top of the windshields in the Monster Energy Drink Cup Series. It's not an easy thing to say yet. Replacing them as they did in the Xfinity and Camping World Truck Series with the title sponsor of the series. So now at the top of the windshield, it says Monster.
You know, I really liked when they had the drivers' names up there, because when you were kind of looking around, you could actually kind of see their name up there. And, you know, if two cars, I don't know, look alike, Jamie McMurray, Austin Dillon.
Tony Stewart.
Tony
all
Stewart.
Bass Pro Shops.
All running the same thing. Oh, and then you got, you know, throw in Martin Truex Jr. You know,
Yeah, that's also
Bass
true.
Pro Shops. You could actually just look at the top of the window and go, oh, there's my guy.
Yeah, now you have to look on the top of the back window
Yes.
where they've put the names as they did in the Xfinity and Camping World Truck Series.
That's really going to mess with people that are trying to get pictures. And I think that's my... No. Oh, crud. It was my guy. Let me
I
try
got him
that
from the
again.
back. Yay!
Let's try it again.
Yeah. Last week, talked about the strange lack of one of Danica Patrick's sponsors during her day on NASCAR Media Days a couple of weeks ago, and things have taken an even bigger downturn. You actually called this, Matt.
Yep.
Yeah.
Stewart Haas Racing has now filed suit against Nature's Bakery, citing breach of contract. The company is one of the smallest major sponsors in all of the Monster Energy Cup Series racing. They are slated to be on the hood of the number 10 Ford Fusion for at least 10, and that's an odd thing to say, by the way, for at least 20 races this year, the second year of a 3-year deal. But the lawsuit, which was filed just yesterday, if you're listening live on Saturday mornings here on Superstation 101 WIDE, was filed in the North Carolina Superior Court, indicates that Nature's Bakery had cash flow issues not long after they signed the sponsorship agreement. They were asking to be able to rework the payment deal on the more than $15 million annually that they owed to Stewart Haas Racing over the course of the 3-year contract. SHR is countering that the company is making up a, quote, scheme to avoid further payments, unquote, by claiming that Danica has been endorsing competing products and not using her social media presence to promote Nature's Bakery's brand enough. Now, Danica has gone out and she has put on her social media stuff, mentioning things like protein powders and things like that. Nature's Bakery don't make protein powders.
The last time I checked,
No.
no.
Now, she did do a lot of promoting at one time, but then she fell off a lot.
Yeah.
That's not on her. That's on whoever
them.
her agent is that should be taking care of that, and on them as well.
Yep.
If they're not providing the stuff that she needs to do it with, then
That is true.
how is she supposed to do it?
I agree. The lawsuit also adds that Nature's Bakery sent Stewart Haas Racing a letter January 19th, said they were canceling the sponsorship agreement, have missed several payment deadlines as well. 2 weeks ago, Patrick, as we talked about, wore her Tax Act fire suit in media days. When asked, Stewart Haas Racing officials said that they were talking with Nature's Bakery, but nothing more. The team also stated their intention to continue as a four-car Monster Energy Cup Series organization and starting up their Xfinity. They'll find something.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
with all due respect to our personal opinions of what Danica can do on the track, let's face it, she's the lone female at this point in time in the Cup Series. You're going to have a hard time not finding somebody to sponsor that car.
You would think that she would get like an insurance sponsor.
I was
as
getting
much as
ready
she
to say the
wrecks.
exact same thing.
Oh, yeah.
So we got Nationwide out there.
Nationwide
Geico's there.
That's what that would be a great commercial. You know, she wrecks into the wall on turn 4, and then she gets out of the car. You know, of course,
Oh,
the
no,
safety
there she
people
goes
are
again.
there. And then she calls Nationwide, and they have the Nationwide is on your side.
Funny that you say that because she actually does have a personal services contract with Nationwide.
Does she really?
Well, then there you would think. Hello.
It is interesting to think. I mean, you think about all the different ones, or you know, go find a good. Heck, can we get GM Goodwrench back? Do they still have that character?
I don't.
No.
Well, we can't do
Don't
that
think so.
anymore because they're now Ford. I'm sorry, that's right. So we'd
Yeah.
have to get like Ford talking about all of their body shop
Ford
situations.
Performance.
Ford EcoBoost.
I mean, you can Mako.
Double A.
You know, somebody that fixes bodywork on vehicles. I mean, you know, some
You know,
nationwide
I gotta,
bodywork.
I gotta
company.
say this much. I think Nation's Bakery should just pony up the dough.
Nice.
How do you spell that?
Darn it.
Good John. D-O. What's next?
I forgot that part. Crud, man. That was a good joke, too.
It was a good joke.
Darn it.
Had a pretty funny punchline.
And then
too.
you wrecked it like Danica.
It was a pretty funny punchline. Charter moves, we've got them. Front Row Motorsports, of all teams, has announced they purchased a third charter. They grabbed one that BK Racing had for the number 83 last year, with plans to expand out to 3 teams in 2018, which brings us to NASCAR rules, which state you either have to use it or lease it or lose it. So for 2017, that very same charter that they just bought from BK Racing, they've leased out to TriStar Motorsports. TriStar is going to enter Cole Witt into the Daytona 500 with that charter, and they're set to field a number 72 Ford Fusion. By the way, you want to talk about an odd number. I don't know where they came up with the number 72. Does that mean something to TriStar at some lower level?
Where they want to finish in points?
I don't know. If they enter all 36 races, they got a chance of finishing 36th.
Maybe they're hoping to score 72 points.
Oh, is that what it is? TriStar's leased the charter for the 1 year that they can under NASCAR's charter rules, so that means Cole Witt is guaranteed to start in the Daytona 500. Front Row Motorsports promises a 3-car operation for 2018. And then there's BK Racing. They state that they're still planning on fielding 2 cars in 2017. Joey Gase, Corey LaJoie, as we mentioned last week, entered into the Daytona 500. Gase will drive the number 23. The now one of their 2 cars officially entered in the race with the charter. The 83 will have Corey LaJoie behind the wheel there. Then there's Greg Galding's situation, who is, by the way, only 18. He's going to drive the majority of the season in the number 23. Here's the rub. He hasn't been cleared by NASCAR to run the restrictor plate races yet because he hasn't actually run a more than a 1.5 mile track in NASCAR.
Okay, what happened to the rule of if you could run the ARCA race, they would approve you? What happened to that rule?
NASCAR's switched something. Anyway, so he misses Daytona.
That's a good point.
Reports state that he will drive, Galding will, the 23 for 33 of the season's races. He'll step out for Daytona, obviously, we just mentioned that, Kentucky and Bristol. Those latter 2, he's expected to drive the number 83. Joey Gase has some furniture company as a sponsor, and they've bought Daytona, Kentucky, and Bristol. So he'll be in the number 23, guaranteed to start to get that sponsor some press. or publicity or whatever you want to
It's
call
going
it.
to be awfully interesting.
BK Racing has really got some problems. They haven't even said officially who it is that's going to be Greg Galding's sponsor. It's assumed it's Dr. Pepper because Dr. Pepper's been a longtime BK Racing cohort. I think at one point in time they even were co-owners of the team, but I think they've backed out of that.
I think it would have been nice to see his sponsor that's been with him through ARCA.
That would be Krispy Kreme donuts.
Yeah. Oh, crap.
Man, it all comes back to that, doesn't it?
Darn it. Yeah, but okay, anyway, regardless of that fact, let's not go there again. But, man, Krispy Kreme was on his car. It would have been really cool to see them maybe.
I have to admit, I'd forgotten that he was that car. It was a good-looking car, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
I'd follow it.
They was with him
Sure.
through K&N trucks and that one ARCA start he made last year.
That's why I'm kind of curious why they wouldn't make the move up to this level with him.
Oh, they'll
You
be
know.
on the car.
They'll
be
well,
on.
yeah, I think that they'll probably be on the
I-
car,
I
but you
know
got to
that-
remember, it's an expensive outlay
it is.
for them to go.
And when you're selling donuts, you're not getting that much money.
Yeah, so
To sponsor a
maybe
NASCAR.
they'll try to do not necessarily, for example, since we just talked about them, Nature's Bakery, where they're taking 20 or more, which is the majority of the season. Maybe they come in and they do. What was the one that I said from Danica? Tax Act.
Yeah, Tax
They're
Act.
slated to do 4 or 5 races with Danica this
4
year.
to 6, I think. Something
I
like
could
that.
see Krispy Kreme doing something like that.
Something like that would be
You know,
cool.
a handful of races, and then that's that, and let Dr. Pepper maybe take the rest.
If they really want to do a good one, they'll be on the car for Darlington. And come
Would
up
be a
with
good
some
one.
sort of a
'Cause
retro
that's not too far
scheme.
from their home.
Yeah, and then come up with some sort of a retro scheme.
Yeah.
That's a good
for
point.
Krispy Kreme. That'd
Time
be a
will
good
tell.
one.
Let's see if he makes that phone call since they've had that long-time partnership. Speaking of long-time partnerships, it was so weird to hear that Germain Racing got rid of Casey Mears.
Yeah, that actually made me upset.
Bring up Ty Dillon to run the number 13 Chevy SS for 2017. They've announced they have signed Twisted Tea Hard Lemonade to be a primary sponsor for some selected races. There'll be an associate sponsorship on the RCR number 3 driven by Ty's brother Austin for the full year. It's a multi-year deal with both organizations. Geico Insurance, longtime Germain sponsor, is slated to be on the hood for 32 of the 36 points races. So Twisted Tea, it looks like 4. They stated that in addition to the time on the car's hood with Ty Dillon, they're going to have Ty and the number 13 car featured prominently in their 2017 advertising, so you'll get to see a lot of Ty. Sorry about making that eye twitch.
Now, what if? What if Ty comes in this season and actually does better than his brother did?
Oh, boy.
What if Ty comes in and does better than his brother did last season?
That would be an interesting one.
What if Ty comes in
That's
and
very
wins
possible.
a race?
Very, very possible.
I don't know about very
you
possible,
see-
but it is possible.
Could you see Austin now slamming down his cowboy hat and throwing a 2-year-old temper tantrum
He
outside
needs to
of
throw
his
that cowboy hat
grandfather's-
down now.
Yeah.
Ty beat me.
Grandpa, you said I'd win.
And they will have very similar
Pretty
cars
much.
because Germain Racing gets tech support from Richard Childress Racing. That dates back to 2014.
That's what I'm saying.
And in all, Ty Dillon running the full 2017 season is going to be a Sunoco Rookie of the Year candidate for the year as well. Sorry, brother.
I want to see them wreck themselves, and then see who's going to blame it on who.
That would be kind of fun.
Boys, hold my watch. You're both in timeout.
Yep. Go to your corner.
Yeah, really. I love it.
Grandpa.
One more note on the Cup Series side. Circle Sport TMG Racing, this weird combination of the Motorsports Group and Circle Sport Racing, confirmed what we had previously been rumoring. Jeffrey Earnhardt, Kerry Earnhardt's son, Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s nephew, going to be the primary driver of the number 30 Chevrolet SS that they're going to field this season. He's going to be sponsored in the Daytona 500 by Starter Brand Apparel. Past that, it isn't known who might sponsor the fourth-generation Earnhardt NASCAR racer or whether they intend to drive the full season. That also hasn't been stated. Veteran crew chief Pat Trison calling the shots for Earnhardt when the number 30 is on the track. So he's got a good guy calling the shots for him. Trison is well-known and well-respected in and around NASCAR circles. Jeffrey Earnhardt is one of those kids who he's got the last name, so he's overshadowed.
Yeah, as soon as you see the name, you think, oh, he should be doing great things. Well, no, because you've got that stigma that
Exactly.
you've got to shake off first.
Yeah,
and that's why
Ask
when
Kyle Petty.
we saw him at Talladega last year, running the starter.
Right. Which, by the way, was a good-looking car.
It was a good-looking car. It was great to see them on a car, for one. It was great to see him on track. But it was just really weird because that's all that everybody really focused on throughout the whole weekend was the fact of,
it's Dale's nephew.
everything brought back to Dale Sr. Everything brought back to Dale Sr. instead of focusing on, Jeffrey.
Yeah.
As a person, it was every question was, well, what about your grandfather, all that stuff, and it's
What
kind
about
of
him?
like,
Yeah.
he was a great man, but I'm trying to make a name for myself here.
Yeah.
You almost think that you would have to, if your last name is Earnhardt, that you kind of need to change your last name before you get into racing. I mean, truly, you do, because you're
There's
going to
one way
be
to think
held
about
to
it.
that level. Look at Dale Jr.
He's locked in all the races this year
Yeah,
because that car's got a charter, so
Exactly.
he'll run the full year.
so he's going
They
to
could.
get. He's going to
We'll
get a
find
full
out whether
year.
they do.
Yeah, true.
Because again,
it'd
they
be
haven't
good.
said whether they're going to or not.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see, but it'd be also nice to see him be able to break out of that shadow. We've seen what it's done to
It
Dale
would.
Jr. Hopefully, it doesn't do the same thing to Jeffrey.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was one of the reasons why, for example, Dale Jr. left his dad's team.
Yeah, he wanted to get out. On his
he
own.
had to get out from under that umbrella and go out on his own. And let's face it, you go to Hendrick Motorsports, that's a nice place to land.
It is extremely nice place to land, but if like for this instance, they always drag it back to Junior at the same time.
Yep.
I mean,
Always
even though
happens.
he's made his own self, he's made his own name, he's made his own image, it always comes back to Dad.
Yep. When we come back, we're going to drop down from Cup Series to Xfinity Series, speaking of Dale Jr. We'll also talk Derek Cope and Thor Sport Racing in the Camping World Truck Series. Man, they got busy this past week. Mm-hmm. We'll tell you exactly how busy when we come back here on the Fastest Hour in Radio.
You're listening to the Fastest Hour in Radio on Superstation 101.
I'm Jeremy Schaap. I have Crohn's disease. The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation of America's Take Steps Walk program is dedicated to raising funds and awareness to combat Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis. To find a walk site near you, visit www.cctakesteps.org.
We see stories of fear, despair, and poverty, but they can end with courage, hope, and love. With you, be a part of writing a story that's greater than poverty. Learn how at worldvision.org.
You're going to need me.
You're going to need us.
All of us.
You're going to need our technical skills,
Our math, our engineering skills.
You're going to need our help with your water, your air, your food.
You're going to need our organizational skills, our problem-solving skills.
You're going to need our determination, our honesty, our compassion.
You're going to need the next generation of leaders to face the challenges the future will bring.
And we promise we'll be there when you need us.
Today, 4-H is growing the next generation of leaders. Support us at 4h.org.
To fasten your seatbelt, insert the metal fittings and tighten the strap. And in the event of a sudden rush of cabin generosity, your seat cushion can be used to grant wishes. How? By donating your airline miles to Make-A-Wish. Why? Because your frequent flyer account is stuffed as fat as your carry-on. And just like the workout clothes you packed, you're never going to use all those miles. But if you donate some to Make-A-Wish, you can give wishes wings and put sick kids right where you're sitting now. No, not in seats to Newark. Seats to fun family places, breaks from treatments and doctor visits and hospital stays, wishes to feel better, and lots of times get better too. Push your call buttons if you feel me. Alrighty then. Well, once we reach cruising altitude, you can use your electronic device to make your pledge of miles or money to Make-A-Wish at givewisheswings.org. That's givewisheswings.org. And then move about the cabin with pride, knowing that you've made a huge difference in the life of a Make-A-Wish kid. Because wishes work wonders, people.
Hey guys, Coach Bruce here with the Coach's Wellness Show. Join me every Saturday morning at 8 o'clock. We're going to teach, train, coach, and educate you on how to be well for life. It's about your life and your health right here on Superstation 101 WYDE.
Back to green flag action on the Fastest Hour in Radio on Superstation 101.
you think you know somebody.
Oh God. And the hits keep on coming.
I had no idea of your obsession with one certain flavor of donut. What brought this about?
Boot camp, Marine Corps.
Okay, is this a hatred or a love of?
Love.
You love lemon flavor.
Yes, it was actually the first donut.
Or filled, I guess.
It was the first Krispy Kreme donut that I had.
Oh, okay.
I didn't have any until I went to Marine Corps boot camp.
Yeah, Krispy
See, they
Kreme's
gave us
not
all
well
this.
known in Maryland.
They gave us all this junk to eat that I actually ate stuff that I normally wouldn't, like broccoli and stuff, because I was always hungry.
Yeah.
But then I saw a donut one day.
Ooh.
And I was like, they're going to give us a donut? And I took a bite, and I'm like, man, this is an amazing donut. And then next, when we actually work in the mess hall, at one point you actually do team week kind of thing for the platoons, and we were in the mess hall. And then I found out they were Krispy Kreme donuts.
Ah.
And then when I saw them on the outside, I actually cried.
Like I said, I mean, how long have you and I known each other?
Well, this year is a very special year for us.
Well, yeah, that's true.
This year is going to be the 5th year of the fastest hour in radio.
Yeah, so we've been doing the show for that long, and I had no idea he had an obsession with lemon donuts.
See, I don't let people know things because... because people crack jokes.
Yes. We're going to have a guest,
Right,
by the way, in
Starlet?
hour number 2, and yeah, she came up with a good one off air. It would have been funnier on the air. I'm telling you. It really would have been.
If you open and talk in the microphone, jokes are really cool.
Why is her face so red?
Because she's laughing.
Well, because
she's holding all the jokes in.
I think now she understands something.
What?
Next hour, when we start to talk to her about the life of the spouse of a racer, that Dustin's doing most of the questionings.
You're fried! We need a donut sponsor.
Yeah, really. 941-1011, toll-free 866-551-9933. I hear Greg Galding might have an in. Welcome into the show. We appreciate it. You can call in, or you can take part, by the way, on social media. Facebook, facebook.com/the fastest hour in radio, and all those other ones that you know.
We've got Twitter at fastest hour, Instagram at fastest hour. Our YouTube channel up and running thanks to John.
Yeah, nicely done, by the way.
Getting some stuff uploaded there. So youtube.com, look up the fastest hour in radio.
It's like timely.
The day after the show. Thank you very much.
Was that another stab at me?
Was it? I don't know. Do you feel like it was a stab at you?
As opposed to a week from today.
Do you feel
it'll
stabbed?
be there tomorrow.
I'm about to go off.
Do you feel stabbed?
Yes, I do, because you looked right at me.
Well, then probably it was a stab
The knives just shot out of your eyes.
Well, you were the one that for a while was making fun of yourself for not getting him up there, so, you know.
Yeah.
But you know,
life happens.
Here's the thing: we're starting to understand exactly some of the roles that are within the show. We've actually really started to work that out. You know, I'm the one that's sitting over here trying to host and coming up with all the topics of conversation and everything. You're the social media guru,
and I like coming up with the jokes.
Yeah, you'd certainly
even if
do.
I am
you
the
set
joke.
a good table. That's no doubt about that.
He's definitely the joke.
Oh, she speaks.
There it is.
There it is.
It helps if you speak into the mic.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're working on that.
Right in there. Right in there. There you go.
Matt is helping when it comes to locating.
Matt's got cue cards over there for her.
Yeah.
And
then there's the sponsorship side of things, and he's really working hard on that. John, the producer, is now being involved in all aspects of production of the show.
It's so cool, and we don't get a chance to talk about this, but this started you and I.
Oh yeah.
This started with a phone call each week in Maryland.
Yeah.
And now we've grown to, we've got our own producer extraordinaire.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we've brought on Matt, the extraordinaire when it comes to sponsors and the whole inside when it
And
comes
from the
to
driver's point of
driver's
view, yeah.
point of
That's
view. This has been awesome, man.
Been able to talk with late model Mark, get kind of a more of a dirt track, which has expanded us also out into the NHRA. Talking with folks who know a whole lot about ARCA, Rowdy, and
Mark.
Thank you.
You always forget Mark's name.
I do. And I will tell you, I am horrible with names. It is so weird. We were talking about this the other night. I was with somebody. And I have to admit, I forget what...
You got their name?
No, I forget where I was and what we were doing. But we got into this conversation about how I can remember some of the strangest stuff.
You're like, who won the 1972 Daytona 500?
Well, no, actually, I don't know that right offhand.
darn it.
Benny Parsons?
I was helping
See,
you. I was working.
I'm going to go look this up. He's probably right. He said Benny Parsons.
I'm going to Google.
Are you?
No,
Are
I'm
you
not going to
going?
Google it. I'm not going to Google it.
No,
Are you
don't
looking
Google
at-
it.
No,
Just,
I'm not
you know, look-
Googling. We're not Googling
Wikipedia. I would trust them just as much as I trust Google, maybe more. But I
But
can
he
remember,
is a trivia king. By the
yeah,
way.
I can remember some of the weirdest, arcane, stupid stuff. But you introduced me to somebody new 5 minutes later, and gonna be like, "What was their name?"
Yeah, but you can remember stuff when it comes to the trivia.
Yeah, I know. It's weird.
The useless garbage that is knowledge he's full of.
Yeah, I know.
The important stuff.
It's why my wife
no.
doesn't like watching the TV show
Whoa!
Jeopardy.
You should have had this one.
What?
It was AJ Foyt.
Oh gosh, yeah, I should have.
It's your boy.
I should have.
Driving which car?
He forgot
21.
AJ's name.
21 Wood Brothers.
Got it.
That I do know. That I do know.
He just forgot Foyt's name. That's
Now
all.
you get to choose behind door number 1, door number 2, or door number 3. What's it going to be, Steve?
I'll choose door number 2, and I'll get a go.
And it's a zonk.
Yeah, I'll get a go. Thank you very much. But yeah, I don't know what it is. I can remember some of the weirdest stuff, and my wife cannot stand to watch the TV show Jeopardy with me. And anytime Trivial Pursuit is pulled out, she insists that she cannot be on the opposite team from me.
You know what I would do? I would make you have to win twice to win once. You have to fill that little circle thing twice.
What, with Lemonfield?
Yeah.
That
What the heck? What just happened?
okay, Dustin. That must have been one heck of a joke because I saw 4 people in there. She said something, and now I only see one person in there. Everyone else is rolling on the floor laughing.
What just happened?
I have no clue.
She's getting much more comfortable, and I like that.
I'm in trouble, man.
That's good stuff. Shall we get back to racing talk since we've
Please.
wasted 10 minutes not
Please
talking
do
about
it.
racing, which is what the fastest hour in radio is supposed to be about?
I love this Facebook Live. Save me.
Oh, man. Xfinity Series is where we left off. Junior Motorsports, they've signed a sponsorship deal with Armour, doesn't do donuts, that will cover 2 of their rides for 2017. Pinnacle Foods is the parent of Armour. They'll continue their NASCAR sponsorship, signed a multi-year extension with Junior Motorsports. They're going to be putting their brand on at least 4 races of the number 1 Camaro of Elliott Sadler over the next 2 years. And then Casey Kane, he'll drive, for example, the number 88 Star Car Camaro at Talladega. Armour's going to sponsor him there.
Oh, okay.
I've seen a picture of the car. It looks pretty good.
Yes,
I haven't seen a picture.
it does look really good.
Yeah, it's a sharp-looking car.
I'll have to check it out.
Normally where the blue overlaid the gold, this time the gold overlays the blue.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's a
It looks
good-looking
really
car.
good.
It
That'd be
really
good.
is. Derek Cope Racing is no more. Cope reports that he ended his partnership with JP Motorsports effective immediately, so he ceases operations in the Xfinity Series. That surprise 1990 winner of the Daytona 500, who's now 58, says he still plans to race in 2017, hopes to have an announcement soon. Derek Cope Racing's been a start and park operation now for how long?
Ever?
Been a while. Been a while.
At least the past decade, I think.
He has competed in some full events.
Has he?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's been very few though.
I'd like to see him get a ride just to see if he still has, what has he got left?
Probably not
I
much.
don't want to disrespect Derek Cope. I mean,
No.
the guy has won a Daytona 500.
Yeah. Yes.
You have to give him that at least modicum of respect for that.
Yeah.
But how much really, truthfully, at 58 does he have left? We're seeing most guys by the time they reach 50 being out of the sport.
Yeah, look at the likes of Morgan Shepherd, and that's pretty much what you're looking at with Derek Cope.
Yeah.
You got to realize
maybe
the
true,
thing
too.
is a lot of these drivers, they're way past their prime. They're in no man's land now when it comes to the competition level.
I understand the love of it. I do.
And- yeah,
I
I
get
do
it
too. I mean,
and
get
if
the
you
love.
want to stay in it as long as you possibly can, if you can get a ride, knock yourself out. Morgan Shepherd.
Yeah.
Look at James Hilton.
Yeah, James
Yeah,
Hilton.
there you go.
All these guys that were in it for so long. If you can get a ride, stay in it as long as you can.
Yeah.
But truthfully, are you really doing you and the team any good? Becomes my next question.
Yeah.
And a lot of the
Good point.
times it seems like, well, wow, we're going to get such and such in the car, and we should really do good. It doesn't happen that way. You look at Terry Labonte in the 32 Go Fast.
Go fast, yeah.
Yeah.
Only
Bobby
running the
Labonte.
restrictor plate races.
Yeah, and Bobby Labonte, being in
Yeah.
the car, it's been so bad. Bobby was really decent when he was over at
Cup champion.
JTG Doherty.
Yeah.
I mean, he pushed Trevor Bayne to the win for the Daytona 500.
Yeah. Exactly. And he was the 2000 Cup Series champion. I mean, Bobby Labonte's got a good resume. Terry wasn't exactly any, wallflower either, winning 2 Cup championships.
But it also goes back to the fact of the equipment that you're sitting in.
That's true.
That's exactly what it
I was
boils
about
down
to
to.
say
You can
okay.
take a champion
Yeah.
and put them in a championship car, and they can win.
Yeah.
You can take a champion and put them in a car that has no business being
You
on
put
the
them
track.
in a 20th place car at best, and it's a 20th place
they're
car.
running by themselves around Talladega Superspeedway.
Yeah,
exactly.
Drivers per second. We talked about this.
Yeah.
The start and park organizations, for example, and it's a money making thing. You know, it's an attempt to build up something of a nest egg for a team that's just starting out. I don't know as I can think of one right offhand in the Xfinity series, but Derek Cope might be that guy that you put in there.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I can't think of any team that does that right offhand.
I wonder. It'll be interesting to see if Derek Cope gets a ride.
Carl Long's team, that MBM Motorsports.
Yeah.
They got one car that runs full time, and the other one's starting parks. If I remember right.
I hate start park.
Maybe.
I can't stand it.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of it either.
You go. We talked about this. We talked about this off air one
I think
day.
we talked. Well, I think we also talked about it on air.
We've talked about it on air and off air.
Last
But I
couple
mean,
of weeks, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
I couldn't be a start and park driver. The
Well, it'd
reason,
drive me nuts.
the reason, well, it's not just the fact of being a start and park. It's the fact of you have to go to the track. You have to go through all of the motions just like everybody else, but you don't get the chance to really go out and do something. It's basically go out, run a few laps, and go
Yeah.
home.
We don't have enough money to field a pit crew for you, so therefore
Yeah.
you can run until the tires wear out.
Yeah, pretty much.
Which at Talladega is fine because the tires really don't wear at a Talladega.
You kind of need that thing called fuel.
Yeah, so at that point in time, you can run until the gas runs out. So you get, 30 to 35 laps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? You know what?
Yeah, 30, 35.
I got it. They need. You know how people are talking about coming up with the Formula E version of NASCAR.
Yeah.
You know, talking about that. There you go. That'd be a great place for all former drivers that still want to have that glory. They could drive it with a remote. Seriously, I mean, you think about it. They can still be involved.
It's a new NASCAR series called the Former Start and Park Driver Series.
Yeah, that.
NF.
Get it sponsored by AA. Get it sponsored by like. Get it sponsored by like AARP.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
we got
the
it.
The AARP, electric series.
Yeah, we found it. We figured it out.
Drive in Hunker.
Yeah, really. Camping World Truck Series, Thor Sport Racing, man, they had a busy week. A couple of weeks ago, we talked about the fact, for example, Rico Abreu not going to run this year. We were trying to figure out what they were going to do up there. Well, they know. They signed 3 drivers this week. First up, Cody Coughlin. He's made history by being the first driver to win both the ARCA CRA Super Series and the JEGS CRA All-Star Tour Championship in the same year. All of 21 years old, where his family is likely better known for being in the NHRA. And the company JEGS. Coughlin, now 21, stepping out into the Camping World Truck Series. He'll drive the number 13 JEGS Ride TV Toyota Tundra.
Yeah.
He's going to compete for the Sunoco Rookie of the Year award. Second up, they re-signed Ben Rhodes. He comes back to pilot the number 27 Toyota Tundra during his rookie year from 2016. Rhodes won a pole position at Martinsville last April, rolled on to claim 2 top 5 and 5 top 10 results, got 14th in final standings. So Cody Coughlin, Ben Rhodes, and the third signee is about dang time.
Amen.
Yes.
Amen.
Fully agree.
Amen.
Fairhope, Alabama's own Grant Enfinger claimed his first Camping World Truck Series win last fall at Talladega. The 32-year-old Enfinger is going to compete full-time in the series for the first time ever, which makes him a candidate for the Sunoco Rookie of the Year at the same time. Going to bring his 2015 ARCA Series championship along with, he's got 14 Camping World Truck Series starts scattered over the past few seasons. Talladega win, 2 top 5, 5 top 10 finishes, 1 pole. Going to drive the number 98 Toyota Tundra, sponsorship from a lot. Champion Power Equipment, Ride TV, Jive Communications, and Curb Records.
That's super awesome.
I'm thrilled for Grant.
Because we saw him doing so well this past season in the Truck Series.
Yeah.
And then he just, like, they lost it. Like,
I know.
It
Well, the
seemed
thing
like,
was,
and
he was
doing good.
He was listed to be a full-time driver at the beginning of last year for whatever that team was.
GMS.
GMS, thank you. He was listed to be that. 3 weeks into the season, they went, oh, well, wait a minute. We're going to actually make Grant Enfinger part-time racer.
Oh,
and then we're going to put somebody else over
Here's
here.
Kaz Gralla. He's bringing some more money.
Yeah, it's
Boom.
like, come on, people.
But when
Give the man a chance.
But when Kaz Gralla gets in the truck, you see Allegiant Air on the side, so you know Maurice Gallagher's putting the money out for it.
Right.
So
Yeah. So Now he's got himself a ride. He's got 4 good sponsors. I can't wait. I'm thrilled to see him get this chance, and I hope that, and I think really ThorSport is going to find that they have made a fantastic choice.
Yeah, it's going to be. I think it's going to pay dividends for ThorSport. It's going to pay dividends for Grant Enfinger. It's going to be great to see him run, and great to see a full timer in the Truck Series from Alabama.
Absolutely,
it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, he will be a big threat for a championship too.
He will. He's got the talent. Now he's got the equipment.
Yeah,
we've seen what he's done in lesser equipment last year in the Truck Series.
Sure.
Did well for those races that he was in. And then he just lost that out. It just didn't work out for him that way. This spells championship.
Yeah, we'll talk to Rowdy and Mark about him a little bit more when they call in a little bit later.
All that he done last year, too, and another little tidbit, he crew chiefed her brother's ARCA car, too, for 7 races.
Really?
Yes, he did.
Wow.
Well-rounded And he won the ARCA race at Pocono in her brother's car.
Nice. Real nice.
Yes.
See? We get to talk about this a little bit more.
Yeah.
What about donuts?
No, not about donuts. No. Moving on. What's next? What we got? Steve?
Hattori Racing?
Steve? Yeah.
Want to talk about that?
Okay, let's go.
They've amended their earlier statement that they will continue to have Ryan Truex as their driver. They're going to run the full 2016 Camping World Truck Series schedule. They're all going to do all that, but instead of running the number 81, Truex is going to be now driving the number 16 Toyota Tundra. They've announced Scott Zipadelli as his crew chief. Sponsor announcements not made yet, but I imagine that'll probably happen here sometime soon. Ryan Truex is a talented driver. Scott Zipadelli is not unaccomplished as a crew chief.
Oh, no.
He hasn't had a whole lot of success, but he's had some, so I get the funny feeling something might work out there. You hear about weird Super Bowl bets over the course of time, some $1 to $2 billion in both legal and illegal betting action is expected to be placed this weekend in the game between the Falcons and the Patriots. And then there are things like bets between governors. Usually it involves some sort of food or something that's known from one state to the other state, things like that. Never heard of this before. A bet between racetracks. Ever heard of that one before?
Actually, I have.
Yeah? On this level?
I don't think it's been on this level, though.
Okay, what was yours?
I think, wasn't it? Well, they have it every year. Pocono and what's the softball game?
Pocono and Dover.
Yeah, Pocono and Dover. They always have that whole softball game. Yeah,
I didn't realize that.
Because one year it was Clint Boyer's team
and
versus
Boyer and Harvick, I think.
Yeah, Boyer and Harvick versus somebody else. They do it every year, though.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to look into that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, here's the situation when it comes to the Super Bowl bet with 2 tracks that are Speedway Motorsports Incorporated properties. With their company's approval, New Hampshire Motor Speedway and Atlanta Motor Speedway have cut a wager on the Super Bowl. Should the Patriots win their 5th Super Bowl, a Patriots flag must fly over Atlanta Motor Speedway the very next day, Monday. And during race week from February 27th to March 5th, that flag must fly as well. In addition, Atlanta track president Ed Clark must wear a New England Patriots jersey and is set to hand David McGrath, the New Hampshire track president, and the winner of the first New Hampshire race of this year, July, Georgia Peaches, in Victory Lane. Also, 4 Patriots and New Hampshire Motor Speedway fans get premium tickets to the March 5th Cup event, the Folds of Honor Quick Trip 500, a $400 value at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Then there's the opposite side. Should Atlanta win Sunday, a Falcons flag has to fly on the day after the Super Bowl and on the race week leading up to the first race of the year. That's July 10th through the 16th. Then wearing a Falcons jersey, McGrath, the New Hampshire track president, would present in Victory Lane to Clark and the Atlanta race winner, a New England Lobster, plus 4 Falcons and Atlanta Motor Speedway fans would win premium tickets to the New Hampshire 301 in July, which that's a $500 value there. I don't know why the premium tickets are $100 difference between Atlanta and New Hampshire, but that's something that they have to deal with on their own.
It's a long trip for the Lobster.
Yeah, exactly. I find it kind of fun. This kind of thing, though, is kind of fun. You know, just to have a little bit of fun with this and just enjoy it. I kind of like things like that.
I'm looking forward to the Atlanta race.
Are you?
Yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing the Lobster in Atlanta.
Man, they do get some big lobsters. I wonder if they're going to grab one of those.
No, lobster-filled. Is this going to be an all-day thing, Steve?
Yes, it will.
Yep.
How much time we got left?
Hour and 8 minutes.
Oh, darn it.
Plus, I'm planning on mentioning it about the Entertainment Roundtable. Things are a go for renovation at Phoenix International Raceway. $178 million overhaul going to change the track as we know it. The change is moving the start-finish line to what we previously had known as Turn 2 right before the dog leg. Still, it's going to take a while to get used to that.
Well, it's so weird.
Moving the grandstands, they're taking the what is now front stretch grandstands down. That'll create an RV park. They're going to move the grandstands around to cover what had been known as Turns 1 and 2. Things are also going to be different for NASCAR than they will for IndyCar. Both series now, of course, race at the facility. NASCAR drivers, though, are well known to use the apron around the dog leg. IndyCar rules don't allow their drivers to do that. So that'll prompt teams from both series to now have to figure out whether they want a better car in what we knew as turns 3 and 4 to have a better start, or do you want to be better on the other end of the track, the tighter end of the track, turn 1 now, and have a better chance at the end of the race. Other changes confirmed in the redo of the facility: elimination of 211 infield camping spots. They're replacing that with a fan zone. Those who have been longtime infield campers, they're going to get priority spots outside of the track in the RV park we just talked about.
Right.
Permanent seating capacity in the grandstands drops from 51,000 to 45,000, but in this case, they're actually going to be seats, whereas the grandstands that they're tearing down, they were all bleacher style.
Yeah.
They're expanding out Wi-Fi to cover the entire grounds of the facility. They're having a new midway put in. Grandstands are going to be accessed by escalators, similar to Daytona, and a new state-of-the-art medical center with X-ray capabilities being built in the infield close to where the start-finish line end of the track is. And finally, a new media center and garage facilities are going to be built, which will host NASCAR on all 3 levels, and IndyCar, from what I'm told. They're going to have their own separate garage area. So they're doing a lot of work over there.
It's going to be awfully interesting.
It will be. But once it's all said and done, I think the weirdest thing for me is going to be getting used to that new location of the start-finish line. Everything else is, it's kind of like, hey, cool, look at this. They've changed it around. But that start-finish line location is weird.
That, and as well as seeing a track with their main stand area confined to a corner.
Right.
That's going to take some getting used to.
It really is.
It is.
And I'm wondering how this is going to change. For example, your guy, Kevin Harvick. He's practically owned Phoenix.
He's still going to own
over
Phoenix.
the past few years. Well, and you say that, but this, from a driver's perspective, how does this change your way of doing things when you're in the car, or do you think that it does?
It really wouldn't.
You don't
I
think
don't think
so?
It would. You still hit your same points. You just thinking, okay, instead of going into turn 1, I'm going into turn 3 now. It wouldn't change for me.
That dog leg, I guess, becomes turn 1 now?
No, the far end becomes turn 1. The dog leg is going to be
3
like
becomes
a trial.
1. 2
3
becomes
3 becomes 1. 1 becomes 3.
4
Well,
becomes 2.
what I'm led to believe, and this is why I say the dog leg becomes 1, is what I'm led to believe is that short shoot off of the end of turn 1 before you get to the dog leg. That's where that start-finish line is going to be.
Yeah.
It's not going to be in the middle of the dog leg.
In a way, it's going to be like...
It's going to be like 5 turns, but it's actually 4.
It's going to be like a reverse... I would say like a reverse tri-oval from Talladega.
Yeah.
That's true.
With the dog,
whereas
with
instead of the dog leg after it,
instead of the
I
start
can
finish
buy that.
line after the dog leg, after the tri-oval, the start finish line will be before the tri-oval.
It's just, this is going to be hard to get used to.
Yeah.
This segment of the show brought to you in part by Headache Medicine for You.
Yeah, really.
No, and you know what? I agree, because I don't think it really changes anything for the drivers. I think all it really does is you're just putting it in a different spot. So, like you said, you still have to hit your same marks. It's not like they've reconfigured the track like they did before.
Or
It's
at
just-
Texas. We're about to get to that.
Yeah, that's going to see. That's a whole different thing. Now, if they took, the start finish line at Texas and put it to the backstretch, and then that messes with everything else as well. But I mean, I think for Phoenix, I think this is going to be awesome for them. The facilities look amazing from all the pictures that we've been able to see.
Yeah, the renditions we've seen.
But I say Phoenix Raceway put up a great video on their website too that we shared on the page, and it goes into detail and shows all of the amenities and everything, and it looks amazing.
Yeah, it does.
And I can't wait till we actually get to the race there. I'm curious to see just how that dog leg on the backstretch, with the winner being back there celebrating, as to being on the front. What was the front stretch?
Exactly. I guess drop down all the way onto the apron, because that is a huge amount of pavement.
You got plenty of area to burn out now.
Yeah, now you're right. Okay, time will tell. Another course hosting NASCAR and IndyCar is about done with their renovation project. That is the aforementioned Texas Motor Speedway. They're in their final stages of their renovation project. They get into the repaving of the track surface beginning next week. Project started back on January the 9th. They installed a drainage system on the front and back stretches, a reduction of the banking in turns 1 and 2. They went down from 24 to 20 degrees. They also widened turns 1 and 2 to 80 feet wide, up from 60. Turns 3 and 4 remains at 24 degrees of banking and 60 feet wide. All of that done. Now the full repave gets underway, expected to take about 28 days, barring any unexpected delays. They have about twice that amount of time since their first race of 2017 isn't until NASCAR visits on the weekend of April 7th through the 9th. That'll be the O'Reilly Auto Parts 500 weekend. Pit Road, this was not, by the way, in the initial plans. Pit Road is now also going to be repaved because they realized how uneven that surface had become over the course of time. So Pit Road gets a new look as well.
Yeah, that I'm extremely excited about this, about Texas. We always see fast racing in Texas. We always see some crazy stuff.
We did express a little bit of concern about this 20-degree banking and 80 feet wide in turns 1 and 2, and then the other end being different.
I'm not excited about it.
You're not?
No.
Why? Well, I mean,
if you're going to make a racetrack like that, make both your corners even. Yeah, banking can still be the same like it is, but make them the same width.
I don't know. Just for me, not being a driver, but just being, seeing. I think it adds a whole new degree of complex. The complexion changes.
It does, yeah.
And it's going to be a little bit harder to get a grip on that track, just to understand what you need to do and everything. I think that's really going to throw people.
With that paving, somebody will try and not lift in qualifying.
Somebody's
going to try.
Sure. And they'll learn real fast why they need to.
Try.
Yeah. Well, okay. As a driver, from your point of view, with just a few seconds left, would you prefer to set up for turns 3 and 4, or do you try and set up for turns 1 and 2 here?
3 and 4.
Kind of agree.
That's the run to the line.
Lay off in 1 and 2.
Well, it's not only the run for the line, but
and
with that extra 20 feet of space out there, I think you have a lot more room for error in 1 and 2.
Yep.
You don't have as much in 3 and 4. Got to take a break. When we come back, hour number 2 will kick off. We'll talk IndyCar, Formula 1, and to our guest.
Yeah.
Dustin.
WYDE-FM Coleman, WYDE-AM Birmingham, W237EK Birmingham, WDJC-HD2 Birmingham.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
I'm Tiffany. I have some tips for you on how to quit smoking like I did. First, I did some reading about it. I found a lot of great advice on how to quit smoking and picked out the ways I thought would work best for me. I started by setting a quit date. Then I threw out my ashtrays, lighters, and matches. I did other things too, like exercising more, and it worked. But I'd still get cravings, especially on long car rides. To help me with that, I put a picture of my mother in my car. She died of lung cancer from smoking cigarettes when I was only 16. Now I have a 16-year-old daughter. That picture of my mother reminds me that I don't want to miss all the things my daughter is going to do in her life, including turning 17.
You can quit. For free help, call 1-800-QUIT-NOW. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and CDC.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness.
Get some rear security.
From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
The forecast for your Saturday afternoon: high temperature near 53 degrees under sunny skies. More clouds by tonight. Low temperature of 42 with more clouds. There is an increased in a chance for a shower overnight, but very limited. 58 degrees, mostly cloudy into your Sunday. A chance for showers by mid to later in the afternoon. And that chance for showers will continue into Sunday night with temperatures in the mid to upper 40s. Not expecting to see real measurable rainfall and thunderstorms until early next week, and mainly seeing the stormy weather by Tuesday. From WVTM 13 News, I'm meteorologist Harmony Mendoza with your forecast on Superstation 101 WYDE.
Drivers and Danica, start your engines!
Pull those belts down tight one more time. Warm up those tires. Hit your marks and let's go racing, boys and girls. NASCAR, Indycar, Formula One, Formula E, NHRA, and local dirt track and drag strip racing talk. This is the fastest hour in radio.
Where'd you go? Where's your home? How'd you end up all alone? Can you hear me now? Hear me now?
Here's your host, Steve West and Dustin Harmer, with producer John Myers.
Hey, welcome back in. Hour number 2 of this weekend's edition, the first full weekend in the month of February.
Yes.
Race month.
That's right. Daytona 500 month is here.
What happened to January?
It flew by, thankfully.
Where did that go?
Well, like it feels like yesterday was New Year's.
Yeah. I mean, we just had the Ice Bowl. We just talked about 24 hours of Daytona. I mean, it just went, see ya.
And before we realize it, we'll be talking about a champion.
Stop it.
I'm just saying, Steve.
I'd like to enjoy the racing season.
Well, I would too, but then we wake up and it's
before
like,
it feels like it was only 2 weeks long.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Because by the time it's all said and done, that's what it's going to feel like. You'll be like,
Oh,
wasn't it just like 2-3 weeks ago that we were at Daytona for the 500?
Every year it
Then
gets
it'll be-
faster and faster.
It
Here's
really
the
does.
playoffs.
Yeah.
Where did the season go?
And by the way, we actually get to call them playoffs this year because NASCAR has
Playoffs?
playoffs.
All right,
You want to talk
what's the-
playoffs?
All right, what's
You
the-
want to talk about the most overrun, overused soundbite in the
There it
history
is.
of sports.
Right there.
Yep.
Playoffs?
That and the deflating sound of Tom Brady's footballs.
You want to talk about the most overrated story?
Woo!
That is the most overrated story ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because, sorry, science doesn't match up with what they were asserting.
Little stab here,
Oh.
little stab there. What
Shall we do
got?
phone calls?
Yeah.
9411011 toll free 866-551-9933. Would you like to be a part of the show? Please give us a yell. Set out to Oxford. Mike checking in. Good morning, Mike. How are you?
Hey, man, I'm doing just fine, but it's really cold here. I'm telling you what, my campfire froze.
I know this guy.
It is very cold here, and I'm in the man cave, and it's still cold.
I understand.
But I was listening to y'all's show, and it's great, man. I like what y'all are doing. I had a question for Matt about Clint Boyer. I was wondering what his thing is going on right now.
With Boyer?
Yes.
Well,
he's one of my favorite drivers.
He's going to be all right this year, Mike. I'm not worried about Boyer a bit.
He's stepping up in some good
He's
equipment.
stepping up big time this year.
And he's getting back with somebody that he's extremely familiar with in the fact of Kevin Harvick.
Yeah.
So those two, you put them on a restrictor plate track like Daytona or Talladega. Watch out for these two if they get hooked together because they know each other very well. Pushing
might
either way, it's going to be a great thing. I think Boyer's going to have an awesome season.
Oh yeah, I agree.
I believe you on that. You think they'll cruise around in a camouflage limousine?
In a camouflage limousine?
I like where you're going with that. Let's do
Dynasty.
it. Sure, why not? I think it would actually be kind of fun if they were to do something like that.
Yeah.
Especially out at like Talladega on, the
big one
on the
boulevard.
Roll around in a camo limousine. Sure, why not?
Those two together, and then you got Tony Stewart as their boss.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Delane is in for it. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, really.
Clint Boyer, Kevin Harvick, and Tony
Okay.
Stewart.
Well, one more question for you guys. One of my other favorite drivers
according to everything that we've heard, a rather large check was stroked to get him out of the number 19. From everything that he said, and by the way, that whole political aspiration thing, he kind of said, you know what, that's really not where everything is going to be going. He'll be back. I really honestly believe he'll be back next year. He's just going to sit out this year, and he'll be back next year.
He'll be back next year in a Dodge.
He'll be back. He'll be back and do a backflip.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Sure.
Yeah, the days
He'll
of the
be back.
backflip are just
They're not over
there's a
yet.
break right now. We're going to
Yeah.
see a lot more backflips from Carl Stewart when he gets a chance to get back on the track.
Carl who?
And
Who's Carl Stewart?
Carl Stewart?
Yeah.
Did I say Carl Stewart?
Yes, you did.
His mind is on the donut.
Did I really say that?
Yes, you did.
Okay, when Carl Edwards,
Yeah, there it
wow, my bad. That was a total brain fart.
Yeah, it was.
When he
Tony
gets back out
Edwards.
on track,
On the air, too, yeah.
yeah, when he gets back out on track, the 19 of Daniel Suarez might want to watch out. Because if he's in Carl's way, Carl's going to move him.
Punt.
Yes, what a super beast.
Yep. Real cool.
Are y'all enjoying donuts?
Thanks for bringing it up, Mike. Appreciate it,
If you want to
buddy.
bring some up,
Yeah.
make sure you have a couple of lemon filled, okay?
Well, I couldn't help but overhear. I love
Today's
the
word is
show.
donut. Every
Thank-
time we hear donut, everybody screams.
That's right. Thank you, Mike. We
Well,
appreciate it, man.
Okay, thank y'all. I love your show.
Thanks
Thanks,
so much.
Mike.
We appreciate
See
it,
you,
buddy.
Mike.
You know him.
That is my neighbor.
There you go.
Your neighbor?
Yes.
That's good stuff.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't it I that said Carl Edwards would not be in the Senate?
I believe
Yes.
you did say that.
You did,
said
John.
that, yes.
I couldn't take him seriously if he was in the Senate.
Well, I could take him seriously.
Every time they passed a bill, he'd do a backflip off the podium.
Only if he wrote it.
Yeah, only if he wrote it.
Only if he wrote it. But
That'd
here's
be
the
actually-
thing. That could be kind of fun.
That would actually be
Yeah,
kind
it
of
would.
cool.
Yeah.
And you talk about C-SPAN's numbers going skyrocket. Right there
Yeah,
you
some
go.
NASCAR fans that actually have a reason to pay attention to what's going on up in Washington, D.C. Let's go over to IndyCar here. This one's kind of a sort of. We'll get into full IndyCar news here in just a second. This whole Boston Grand Prix thing just keeps rearing its ugly head.
Again?
Oh, yeah.
We gotta talk about this again.
A prosecution in that case asserts that the CEO, former CEO, I should say, of the failed Boston Grand Prix has got himself into even more trouble. His name is John Casey. He has been arrested and charged with assault and battery in the Massachusetts town of Salem. Reportedly, he kicked a news photographer in the courthouse hall. He was arrested, released following posting a $1,200 bail. Casey, the former CEO of the effort to bring the IndyCar street race to New England's biggest city. Prosecution in the case asserts Casey, who is now 53, swore at reporters and then kicked a Boston Herald newspaper photographer in the arm Wednesday as he was leaving a courtroom following a hearing on the civil matter related to the sponsorship of the stillborn Boston Grand Prix. In that case, it's Global Partners, company that owns gas stations, convenience stores around New England. They're suing Casey for the return of about $275,000 that they paid for sponsorship of the Grand Prix. Casey's representing himself in that case and now in this assault and battery case. He told reporters that he suffered a panic attack when confronted by the photographer, which he described as, quote, aggressive, unquote. He denied making any contact at all.
So, Casey is now a snowflake.
For all intents and purposes,
He was very aggressive.
He scared me.
I put a camera at you. Is that aggressive? Now, if I was like, beating you into the ground with the camera and then taking your picture, that's aggressive.
Yeah. The thing that gets me is the fact that the way that this is asserted, he is supposed to have kicked the photographer in the arm. Was this a karate kick, or was the photographer kneeling on the floor? So, either it's a karate kick, which means it's an aggressive
Cue the People's
assault
Court theme, John.
Yeah, really. Which means that it is an aggressive assault on the part of Casey.
Yep.
Or number two, the photographer's kneeling down on the floor, making it an easier move for Casey to be able to kick him, which means he was on the floor. How in the heck could he have been aggressive?
Yeah. Because if you're on the ground, you're not aggressive on the ground.
You're killing me, Smalls.
Thank you. Into Real Racing, president of Team Penske, Tim Sidrick, who had been the race strategist for Will Power since that driver began with the team back in 2011, is now stepping away for that role for Power. More on that in a minute. John Buslog, there's a good name for you. He was the strategist for Juan Pablo Montoya over the past 2 seasons, going to take over calling races for Power. What does this mean for Sidrick? He will become the race strategist for the new Team Penske driver, Joseph Newgarden. Newgarden moved over to Penske this offseason after finishing 4th in season-ending points for Ed Carpenter Racing last year. Cedric's been something of a master with Power. Since taking over calling the shots for him in July of 2011, Power and Cedric have combined for 17 wins and the 2014 IndyCar Championship.
I'm kind of curious. Why would you do this? I'm thinking this much. This is what I'm thinking is the fact of, if you've got Cedric, you're going to move him away from where he. That's like moving Chad Knaus away from Jimmy Johnson.
Ooh, can we do that?
I would love to, but in reality,
Did I say that out loud?
yeah, that was there.
Just a little.
That whole inner monologue thing, I think,
I
broke.
know.
It's very early. But you move Cedric away from Power. I would have put Buschlag with Newgarden, and to see if maybe those two could mesh together. Because then look at the fact you got two Power teams right there. Well, no pun intended with willpower. But if you got Cedric,
well, you at least got one.
Cedric and Power together as a team like that, the way that they've been able to get through the seasons, and what they've been able to do together, see what the other two can do together as well. You could end up having two awesome teams instead of one guy bouncing back and forth. You got to figure out what the other guy can do.
We'll find out. We'll see whether this works out for him.
Yeah.
I mean, Penske's a powerhouse. I've heard some people say that it's possible that Team Penske could lock out all top 4 spots in the driver standings this year. They're that confident in what they do.
I see it happening.
Yeah, it's very possible. Schmidt-Peterson Motorsports has announced they've signed driver Mikhail Elation for the 2017 year. He'll drive their number 7 Honda-powered entry. This will mark his 3rd year with the team. He drove for both in 2014 and last year. He's going to be the teammate of James Hinchcliffe again. Hinchcliffe going to be in number 5. Elation kind of seemed to find something in the second half of 2016. Got a pole at Pocono, led 87 laps there before settling for 2nd. Got another top 5 the next race at Iowa Speedway, claimed 6th at Toronto. And really only a late race pit incident kept him from winning his first Verizon IndyCar Series race at Mid-Ohio. He's got 2 podium finishes and 34 races in IndyCar, 12 top 10 results in all. Elation's one of those guys who we've been kind of watching, waiting to see if he was going to gain that one real solid ride. It looks like he might have actually found it with Schmidt-Peterson Motorsports. Now the question is he going to be able to follow up on whatever it was that they seemed to find in the second half of last year and launch into 2017 looking good and maybe competing for wins?
I would like to see that ultimately take place where they can just kind of come in and pick up where they left off. But I think with the fact that you got the off season, I think that's going to set them back a little bit. So they might not come out,
and
out
the
of the box
uncertainty,
strong.
The uncertainty until the week of February the 4th, of not even knowing if he was going to be in the car.
Exactly, and that's the other thing you got to look at too. I mean, all of that's going to play into the fact that he's not going to start off great.
Yeah. He's going to have to take a race or two to find it, but he may not.
I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be more than just 2. I really think it's going to be several weeks.
Can he find it before halfway through the season?
I think that's going to be.
Does he find it before the 500?
That's a big question.
That's
a realistic.
If he wants to have any success this season, he's going to.
So you want to try
and
find whatever it was that you found at Pocono and thereafter.
Yeah.
You want to find it by May.
Yep. If not sooner.
That gives him.
He wants it. He needs it as soon as possible.
3 races. I was trying to remember if there was a race between Barber Motorsports Park and Indy Grand Prix.
Long Beach, I think.
Long Beach is just before Barber. So we got St. Petersburg, Long Beach, Barber.
The Indy road course race. That'd be the only thing before then.
So we go from Barber to the Indy Grand Prix.
I think so.
And then to the Indy 500.
I think Barber's going to be his place. That's where it's going to have to be found.
We're going to tell whether he's got it then.
That's when we're going to have to see
right.
it.
Okay.
If he has any hope to have salvage the season from the beginning, he's got to have it by Barber.
Yep. Okay. All right. Dreyer and Reinbold Racing, I didn't realize how long they've been around. They've been a race team competing at Indianapolis now for going on the better part of a century.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Grandfather of the current owners of the team. They started this thing way, way, way back then. But the thing about it is, for this group of racing that has been around for so long, they're only running one race this year, and they've picked Sage Karam again to run for them in the Indy 500. This will be Karam's 3rd year with the team. He'll drive the number 24 racer. His first run with him in 2014, Karam, who was all of 19 at the time, raced from 31st starting position and claimed 9th in the end. Last year, he started 23rd and moved up to 4th less than halfway through the Indy 500 when he and another car made contact, and it ended his day. He finished 32nd. Again, the team only competes in the Indy 500. It's weird. I mean, I get it. If you're going to compete in one race out of the year, you would do the Indy 500, but for a team that's got this kind of a history in IndyCar, the fact that they're only doing one race a year is just strange.
You need more races.
I think so.
Yep.
And Sage Karam's a good driver.
Yeah.
Everything that I've ever seen him do, he seems to be able to wheel that car.
Yeah, so you would think they'd be able to do something and get him in that car a lot more.
You'd think.
Yeah.
Formula One, the only team to be in every in the series every year of its existence, actually has talked about consideration of getting out of it if the new majority stakeholder in the series, the American-based Liberty Media, doesn't really have much of an idea of what they're going to do 2020 and after. This was prompted by the company setting aside some 19 million shares in the series aside for teams to invest in. There's been very little interest from the teams to take any part of Liberty Media's 19 million share offer. Commercial agreements between Liberty Media has with all the teams coming to an end in 2020, and it's caught the attention of FCA chairman and Scuderia Ferrari boss Sergio Marchionne. He publicly stated that his company is not going to invest in Formula One until he knows how the sport might change following 2020. Spoke to investors of his company in a conference call, stated we're in discussions with Liberty. Just recently had a meeting with Chase Carey, Formula One CEO. The issue is not just the question of the financial investment. It's something we do for a living in a very serious way. The Concord Agreement expires 2020. Becoming a non-voting shareholder in an entity which would effectively keep us trapped in without knowledge of what 2021 and later would look like is something I consider unwise. Liberty Media's got to have something of a long-term plan, I would think. And if they don't, they better develop one pretty quick.
They haven't. They're just not going to share it yet.
Yeah.
One other sticking point for the future beyond 2020 is the amount of bonus money paid out to Ferrari because they are the only team that's been in the sport since its inception. This has brought about scorn from smaller teams, especially Sauber. Sauber actually recently vocally called out Liberty Media to address the imbalance in bonus payments as soon as possible. Marchionne said that his organization is unwilling to change anything in their agreement with Formula One 2020 or not. So Sauber's just going to have to, I guess, suck it up? Or does Liberty Media overrule that whole thing and say, hey, listen, we're going to base our bonus payment schedule on where you finished in the final Manufacturers' Cup points?
Yeah, I like the first one. They're going to have to suck it up.
Yep. Suck it up, Buttercup.
All right, then.
It's a tough, tough world. Wear a helmet.
Indeed. We'll find out. Liberty ownership has also made the British Racing Drivers Club pretty happy. We'll get to that in a second. But first things first, we want to make sure that we get the man, the myth, the legend, the guy who knows all about dirt track racing in the eastern part of the state of Alabama.
And a lot of NHRA.
And a good amount of NHRA.
Yes.
That's very, very true. Welcome into the show officially, Late Model Mark.
Well, good morning, and thank you very much, and thank you for that introduction. And I do pride myself in knowing about all forms of racing. And if you hear that sound, that's me patting myself on the back like an idiot.
I heard it.
Don't strain yourself too hard, okay?
Don't pull a muscle.
I got a question for Dustin.
Oh, gosh.
You ready?
I don't know if I am or not, but sure.
Okay, here we go. I'm going to be driving for quite a while because I'm a very busy man this morning. What time can I expect the short track report this morning, Dustin?
There is no short track report this morning, Late Model Mark.
Thank you very much, and why not?
Y'all ain't started yet?
And and you know what? I'm going to have to call you because you're not doing anything. A lemon head.
Oh,
yeah.
You know what?
You were my buddy, okay? I thought there was going to be one person that wasn't going to do anything, and you had to do it.
Yep.
I was actually expecting you to say something a little sooner on that.
Well, you know what?
I thought
like
we were
lemon
friends.
donuts too.
Do what?
But anyways, thank you for taking my humor there. But good morning to you guys. And I was listening to bits and pieces of your show, and I read recently that Indycar is going to be tootling around with changing the bodywork on their cars in probably 2019 or
18 or 19,
yeah. And after looking at some old pictures of Indy cars, I went to a lot of Indy cars races before you guys were even on the planet, and that makes me an old geezer.
Yes,
but if you look at the cars from like 75 to 85, man, those things look good.
Yeah.
They really look good with their package. And I mean, the cars right now in Indy cars are, I don't know, I haven't really accepted them, but I still like the series, and I hope they have an aero package or body work, whatever you want to call it, that is not so goofy looking as today's cars. But I did go up to Boyd Speedway, and I'll give you the couple of the winners. They had a good turnout of cars on a cold day. They had 36 super late models, and it was won by Shannon Buckingham, which was quite a surprise if you ask me. The crate late models was won by Corey Hedgecock, and that dude, he's up from Tennessee, guys, and this guy really can kick some butt in the Neesmith crate late model series. And the limited late model winner was Matt Nicholson. Oh, I'm sorry, Matt doesn't race his crate limited late model up out of Alabama anymore.
I feel better. I feel really good, Matt. You know why? He didn't just pick on me.
No.
Now it's your turn.
Yeah.
Because if I went to Boyd's, I would have to run in Super. Boyd's does not have a true limited late model division. Their Sportsman is for like 2,500 pounds and more.
Oh.
All you got to do is bolt on a few weights, just like Cruz Skinner did, right up on the left front and right front.
Yeah,
with
because
blocks.
he run that 602. That's why.
No, he didn't. But that's another story. But I didn't stay for the limited late model race because the hour. But they had a hell of a turnout. It was 36 supers, 49 crates, and 39 limiteds, and a bunch of hobbies and stuff. But it was a pretty good show up there. But it's kind of great, like you guys say, how February is the month of racing, and boy, it sure does kick off. You know, we got the World of Outlaw late models up at Screven. Lucas Oil Series goes to East Bay. And one of my favorite all-time events, since I'm a big fan of the smell of nitromethane, is next weekend starts off the NHRA season with the Winter Nationals at Pomona.
Mm-hmm.
And I am very stoked. I got the all-access thing. And here's a little tidbit for you guys. I went to that race every single year from 1966 into 2010.
Nice.
When I moved to Alabama, and I flew back there for one deal, and it's just a little too pricey now. But they've been testing at Wild Horse Motorsports Park, which is the former Firebird Raceway, and they've been absolutely flying. And if you go to the NHRA website, Dustin, you can see a huge explosion Tony Schumacher had going through the lights, and he credited his canopy from saving him.
Wow.
And so that's going to get going, and I'm excited. I watched the 24 Hours of Daytona when I could, and I thought it was pretty cool, you know, the wet track conditions and all that, and I thought it was just a pretty good event. And, you know, for some folks, it's kind of hard to watch that race, you know, maybe because they don't understand it all. Not that I understand it all, but it's still pretty cool watching them dudes at nighttime and the headlights and all that good stuff.
I know.
And,
it's just fun to see cars on a track, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to a couple of weeks going up to Winchester Speedway in Tennessee for the Winterfest. You going to go race that one up there, Matt?
No. My first race, I'm intending on to be the Winter Classic at Columbus.
There we go. That'll be a winner. Yeah, it's going to be an exciting month of March and April in the South with the Lucas Oil Series having a 3-night run at Duck River, Boyd's, and East Alabama, and the World of Outlaws at Columbus, and it's going to get real busy here in February, and I'm looking forward to the short track season getting going. And
as for your short track, when do things kick up?
Well, we haven't officially got the schedule out, which is a little bit of an irritant to me. A lot of other tracks have a schedule out, and I'm waiting for ours to come out. And it'll probably be late March or whatever. But hey, you know, I'm not such a homer that I can't maybe smack my own track a little bit. For being a little late on the schedule. I want it out now, just like all the other tracks. Sure. And it's going to be a good one, but we're looking forward to having you boys out there. And especially Dustin. Next time you come, Dustin, please bring me some lemon donuts because I do indulge in those bad boys. I'm with you, brother.
Thank you. Thank you very much, buddy.
I never said that I wouldn't eat a lemon donut.
No, I didn't say that.
I just didn't realize you were fascinated with them.
The only thing I've seen is open practice is March 18th. So I'm expecting it to be the 25th, be the season opener.
I'm hoping. He said we weren't going to start till let's preacher until start the 1st of April, and I'm hoping we start the last weekend of March. Oh, you know what? Here's a left field tidbit. I was a surprising schedule. The Mississippi State Challenge Series, which is a super late model deal they have in Mississippi, they came to our track last June. They are going to have 2 dates in Alabama over at River Valley, the ECM Speedway, and that pretty much put me on the floor when I saw that schedule.
Yes.
So that should be pretty good. And anyways, guys, keep up the good work. Not too much NASCAR heavy. And don't forget the local drag strip talk there, Dustin, and the short track talk. God bless you, guys, and Thanks for putting up with my gibberish. We'll see you later.
Love it. Thank you so much,
Anytime,
Mark. Don't strain yourself. Number one, patting yourself on the back. And number two, be careful throwing those chips up on the shelf, all right? It's good stuff.
I need to start throwing people under the bus so I can get some information to give out for local drag racing.
I have faith in you to go and dig this stuff up.
Yeah. Well, they kind of got a race, so I can actually talk about it too.
There is that.
That is the one thing.
Yep.
I'll be extremely happy because I mean we're gonna be busy once things actually start kicking off this year.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're right.
We're gonna
about
need a
that.
third hour.
I'll let you talk to Jim Moore about that. Because you realize where that third hour would come.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You know, I just changed my mind on that.
No.
That's a good thing.
I'll do anything to talk racing, but I won't do that.
Thank you, Meatloaf. We're going to take a break here in just a couple of seconds. When we come back, we're going to wrap up our talk about Formula One. It may actually be good news when it comes to the British Grand Prix. We're also going to talk a couple of things when it comes to the NHRA. He just mentioned the fact that they're going to be racing next week, and we'll give you full details next week about the Circle K Winter Nationals. But the good news is for those of you that like watching it on television, you're going to get a little extra dose.
Little extra dose.
Little extra dose.
Just a little bit more.
That's right. Their agreement with Fox and Fox Sports really paid the NHRA dividends.
Where the saying, but wait, there's more comes in.
Indeed.
Yes.
Wait, there is more in about 3 or so minutes from right now.
You're listening to the fastest hour in radio on Superstation 101.
Did you know that heart disease is the single leading cause of death in Alabama, and our state has the second highest rate of deaths related to heart disease across the entire nation? This is State Health Officer Dr. Tom Miller. These statistics might sound alarming, but the good news is that coronary artery disease is highly preventable by modifying risk factors. Tobacco use is a major risk factor for cardiovascular disease, so visit quitnowalabama.com if you are looking for free assistance in kicking the habit. 2/3 of Alabamians are overweight or obese, which is another risk for heart disease, so be sure to exercise and increase fruit and vegetable consumption. Some risk factors such as age, sex, and heredity cannot be changed, so it is even more important for us to manage our modifiable risk factors. According to the American Heart Association, a long-term healthy lifestyle is the best defense against these risks. Visit adph.org/CVH for more information.
Okay, here are 5 important reasons why your son or daughter should play a high school sport.
Number 1.
High school sports teach valuable life lessons like self-discipline, sportsmanship, and time management skills.
2.
Teens who play a high school sport have better grade point averages and fewer disciplinary problems.
Number 3.
High school sports help fight teen obesity and substance abuse.
Here's number 4.
High school sports provide wholesome, constructive after-school activity, perfect for today's families.
And number 5.
And high school sports are safer than ever before. Injury surveillance and research, better equipment, and the continuing education programs for coaches provided by state and national athletic associations have made high school sports safer than ever before.
This message presented by the Alabama High School Athletic Association and the Alabama High School Athletic Directors and Coaches Association.
You're going to need me.
You're going to need us.
All of us.
You're going to need the next generation of leaders to face the challenges the future will bring. Support us at 4h.org.
Hey, this is Dave Milton.
And I'm Jonathan Good, and we want to invite you to listen to our show, The Land Show with Dave and Johnny, every Saturday morning.
Jonathan, we have great guests in regular segments to talk about farmland, timberland, hunting property, rural tourism, and anything having to do with the rural Alabama economy.
If you love land, you'll love our show. This is the show for you. So tune in every Saturday morning for The Land Show with Dave and Johnny.
The Land Show, Saturday mornings at 9 on Superstation 101 WYDE. The only show that covers NASCAR, Indycar, and Formula One. The fastest hour in radio on Superstation 101.
Hey, welcome back into it. Final half hour, really?
Yes, thankfully.
Amazing how fast this goes. Welcome back into the fastest hour in radio. Rowdy and Mark, we're going to talk a little ARCA with them in a moment. We want to finish up some of the details that we had here since we only got a couple of more stories to talk about. Liberty's ownership of Formula One has apparently settled things down with the British Racing Drivers Club, the organization sanctioning the British Grand Prix at Silverstone. They now are more confident about their place in the sport. The BDRC actually owns Silverstone. They said that they are, quote, very positive, unquote, that they begin to turn a profit on future races under the new ownership. At this time, Liberty Media says they have no plans to drop sanctioning fees, but they have said they're going to work with the courses to find additional avenues to be able to drive revenue for the tracks and their owners, making the prospects of hosting future Formula One events more feasible for some courses. BDRC Chairman Derek Warwick made a little bit more comfortable. He told the Reuters news agency, quote, Monday definitely changed the face of 2017. He added, quote, we know where we are going now with Liberty. We know where we're going with Silverstone. We're very positive we can now work with this Grand Prix and make a profit in 2017. We're looking forward to it. He added that Liberty Media was willing to look into some details of their contract as well, which might allow the BDRC to increase their revenues during this coming Grand Prix weekend. Time will tell. Fox Sports 1, NHRA officials came together, announced that they're going to have some extra live television coverage for the opening event of 2017. While Fox Sports, the main network, is going to carry the finals, Fox Sports 1 is going to have live coverage of the Circle K Winter Nationals, Pomona, California, on Saturday, 1 p.m. Eastern, noon Central Time next Saturday. That hour will feature highlights from qualifying, but it will also serve as a 2017 preview show for all 24 races in the NHRA 2017 schedule. Again, live Sunday coverage of the finals on Fox, 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Central Time. We'll remind you about that again next weekend as well. But for those NHRA fans, Fox Sports is helping you guys out.
They got it.
Stepping up big time.
And funny car team owners Robert and Leisha Schwab have teamed again with driver Phil Burkhardt Jr. They're going to enter him and the Dodge Charger RT into the season opening event next weekend. He'll also run a handful of other 2017 events too. The team and the driver got together in Vegas last year. They've got bigger aspirations, according to Schwab, who told media, quote, we're a new team with big dreams. At this point, we're figuring out how to compete at this level, so selecting a veteran driver like Phil really helps us tune the car. He's very steady and methodical in the driver's seat, removes any of the variables that we deal with run after run. In other words, I guess they're thinking that they want to become a full-time operation, and I would love to see that happen.
Yes.
We're seeing that kind of excitement here. We got a guest in studio, but before we do into the roasting of the guest inside the studio, let's talk to our friends Mark and Rowdy. ARCA, a little bit of ARCA talk here. And first of all, we say good morning to Mark and Rowdy. How are you guys?
Great. Thank you, guys.
Hey, Dustin. We're doing good here in Chicago today.
Yeah, how cold are you?
Oh, it's a balmy 12 degrees today.
I'll keep my 38
Yeah,
here.
you keep that up there and just stay warm, okay?
I don't plan on sending it to you guys. Don't worry. But you can send me some of those donuts. I'm going to the bakery. I'm sure you guys are talking about them so much.
Done.
Live from Chicago.
I'm done.
Excellent. Very well done. I'm going to ask you guys the same about the same person here. And Rowdy, I'm going to start with you because we just got very excited over the fact that Grant Enfinger, the 2015 ARCA champion, just got signed in the Camping World Truck Series. Finally, it seems like he's going to get that good chance. Thor Sport Racing has signed him for the full year. We've seen him. I remember I've talked about him since I started doing any kind of announcing out of Talladega, doing ARCA races going all the way back to 2007. Your thoughts on Grant Enfinger now at 32 finally getting this chance to start to prove himself on a regular basis with a good team?
Well, first of all, when you got three teammates like he's got Matt Crafton, Cody Cofton, and Ben Rhodes. I mean, Thorpe Sports should be lead. They should be ahead of the game in the truck racing. It's great to see Grant finally get his chance, a full year.
Yeah.
I would think with Grant's going to have a pretty decent year. You knocked Talladega down last year, which was a great win for Grant. I'd look for Grant maybe next year, the year before, the next after to go on into Xfinity.
Oh, okay.
Grant's hey, with Thor Sport, he's got good equipment. He's got a chance to lead and really do good.
Your opinions about Grant, Mark?
Oh, I've been watching Grant since his late model days. I remember him unfortunately losing the Snowball Derby one year in a Kyle Busch machine because of tech. But Grant can wheel a car. He's long overdue. It's nice to see a guy, maybe not quite a teenager, make it into the series and hopefully move ahead. It says a lot, and I think Thor Sport's a really nice fit for him.
Yeah, I do too. You think he's got a good chance, like Rowdy was saying, about moving up here really, really soon?
There's always that good chance, Steve. You just never know. But Rowdy has a good finger on the pulse, and he saw Grant for a long time. So I'd have to go along with Rowdy on this one.
Well, I got to admit, I'm just happy that we got a couple of Alabama drivers back in NASCAR. After the Alabama gang, we went for a long time without anybody from Alabama there. Now we got Darrell Bubba Wallace Jr. in the Xfinity Series. We got Enfinger in the Camping World Truck Series. Hopefully that's just the start for us here in Alabama.
That's my guy in the Truck Series. I'll be following him.
There you go. I like it.
Well, there are some young talent coming up from Alabama, and I'll have Rowdy. There's a young man who's going to be running this year for Rookie of the Year, but he said he's going to run for the championship. That's his goal. So, Rowdy, take it on.
Well, we got, on Monday night show, I know y'all always ask about our show, but on Monday night, we're celebrating our 1-year anniversary, guys.
Nice.
Amazing.
All right. Congratulations.
Nice.
Our first guest is going to be Victor Garcia from Elmore Engines, and he's over the program production end of Elmore, and he's going to give us a rundown and kind of give us the specs of the power plant that's making ARCA as successful as it is. And our second guest is going to be Brett Holmes, getting ready. Hey, guys, we're 13 days and only 2 Saturdays. We'll be live at Daytona Saturday morning.
I'm looking forward to it. Now, are both of you guys headed to Daytona for this or what?
That's the plan.
That's the plan. All right.
That's the plan.
As far as we know today, 2 weeks from today, we will be at Daytona, and we may have a few surprises for our show guests. So everybody keep listening in to us as well as you guys, and find out what our plans are for Daytona.
Absolutely. And at some point in time, we're going to have to, I guess Dustin and Matt and I are going to have to make an appearance on you guys' show.
Hey, sounds great. Sounds great.
I like it. We're going to...
You're more than welcome. You've been very gracious with us. We're more than welcome to reciprocate.
Well, and again, there are racing series, and we've talked about this. We just got done talking about with late model Mark. He was the one that really kind of started to help us down the road in understanding a little bit more about the NHRA and feeling comfortable enough to talk about it and act like we knew what we were talking about.
Yeah.
ARCA is one of those same things. I knew it was there. I just never really knew as much about it as I thought that maybe I should to feel comfortable enough to talk about it on a long-term basis. So that's where the expertise of guys like you come in. We get to rely on you guys as kind of contributors to our show. So anything that we can contribute to your show, I don't know what, but hey, we'll give it a shot.
I'll bring the donuts.
I'll be there.
Dusty, I like chocolate-covered donuts.
What's that, Rowdy?
I like those chocolate-covered donuts.
You like the sprinkles?
Sprinkles will be fine.
Okay.
So we're working up our dozen donuts for when we meet up again. So we'll be taking orders throughout between now and Talladega weekend. So let's kind of get your guys' plans here. I know that you're going to probably try and take in as many of these races from ARCA's racing schedule in person as you can as you're looking over the 2017 schedule. Where do you think you guys are going to show up?
I figure to be about 16 to 17 of the ARCA races this year if things work out right.
Okay. Rowdy, you about the same? 16, 17?
Well, I would think between Mark and I, we're going to hopefully, between both of us, we're going to be able to cover all 20 races. That's our goal.
Cool.
And we're going to kick it off at Daytona, hopefully with a live remote on Friday and Saturday. And we're trying a couple of new things that's going to step it up and get people more involved in ARCA on race day and on qualifying. So we're really excited. I mean, we've got last year we was lucky enough to have out of 20 winners, we've had 15 of the winners on our show, and on the following Monday night, and that's pretty stout. So that leaves us. That gives us a big job for this year to try to better that.
All right.
And we're working towards that.
All right. We're going to put you guys on notice here when it comes to 2 weekends from now. We want a full preview of the racing season, and we'll get predictions from you guys as to who you think will not only win that weekend, but who you think will actually be hoisting the championship at the end of the year. So you got 2 weeks to think about it, okay?
Sounds great,
well,
guys.
Thanks for the 2 weeks, and make sure you guys got donuts for us down there in Daytona, all right?
We'll try and see if we can't mail order some to you.
Call ahead catering.
Call ahead catering. They should have donuts on the same deal.
Yeah, exactly. I like it. How about Talladega? When you guys come to Talladega, we'll make sure that we're set up with donuts.
Yes.
Sounds right.
I plan on being there and planning on talking with you guys every weekend till then.
Sounds great. You guys be careful. Rowdy will be talking with you really, really soon. Try and work out a time when we can guest up there. And Mark, stay warm up there, would you, man?
We're doing our best. We're doing our best.
All right.
You guys have a good week. We'll talk with you next week.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys. We appreciate it very much. Yeah, we're going to have to we'll get with Rowdy.
And their show, of course, we'll get that information out on the Facebook page like we have been every Monday night. So you can catch Mark and Rowdy doing Rowdy Maglite Racing. So
right.
Talking ARCA. We got that on the Facebook page. So go on over there and pull it up and give a listen.
That's right. If you haven't checked them out yet,
you need to.
Make sure that you do.
That's right.
All right.
Yep.
A couple of weeks ago, we officially added one Matt Nicholson to the lineup here at the fastest hour in radio.
Yes.
And being the racer that you are, sir.
Yep.
You had actually a pretty interesting idea here.
Yeah.
You wanted to get the perspective of the spouse of a racer and how life went.
Even though I don't like her perspective right now.
So introduce us to your better half, sir.
Hey, everybody. This is my lovely wife, Starlet. She puts up with a lot, and I mean a lot, with me through race season. But she is a real trooper.
All right. Describe a lot
Yeah.
from your perspective.
Week in and week out, it gets pretty long.
Yeah?
Especially when it's hot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hot weather, and, we just all have fun and do what we can.
What's a typical week for you dealing with him as he's prepping for a race weekend coming up?
Do you hide the guns?
Do you even see him during that week?
Yeah.
Some, yeah.
She had to think about it.
Yeah.
She goes, yeah, some.
Normally, race week, after a Saturday night, normally on Sunday, if I don't have anything catastrophic go wrong, I'm normally ready to go for the next week by Sunday.
Oh, okay.
So I can spend most of the week with her and do whatever she wants to do.
Now, if something catastrophic happens.
Yeah.
That makes for a long week.
See you next weekend, hon.
So, what is catastrophic in your opinion?
That would be big time parts failure. Knock on wood. Going on 10 years, I have never had an engine failure.
Nice.
That's why I knocked on wood.
Yeah, I understand.
This is fake wood.
I don't care. Close enough.
Yeah, exactly. It's particle board,
Close
actually,
enough.
if you look at the underside of it. It's particle board. So it is wood, but it's particle board. Yeah, exactly. So in looking at the process here, garage is on property or off property?
Well, right now,
where you keep your race cars?
Right now, where the new shop is going to be at very, very close friend of mine, Davey Ponder's place. He's putting up a new shop and been extremely gracious to open up a spot. So we're going to basically work under one roof as a 2-car team with his sons, mini late models.
Yeah.
So we're going to work like a 2-car team concept. So it's going to be home base over there within 10 miles of the house.
Okay.
And then where it used to be 45 away, so now I'm going to be 10 away.
Nice. Okay, so that helps out a little bit.
Yeah.
How much of a help around the house is he?
He's a lot of help.
Yeah.
I'd say
Don't
lie.
How
Don't
much
lie.
did he pay you?
Don't lie.
How much did he pay you to say that?
Nothing.
Lemon donut.
I will. Really?
They're actually really good.
Next.
I think Dustin needs to talk to Krispy Kreme and get us a sponsorship on our car.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, that would be kind of fun.
I've eaten enough donuts, so it should be able to support a car.
We've talked about him enough on this show.
Yeah,
no doubt.
exactly. Gosh.
Well, and I asked that question because we keep hearing these stories, and we've heard. I've talked with racers back in my time going from Birmingham International Raceway, where basically these guys, they're trying to get this car set up, especially if they're going into a new class.
Yeah.
They go to their regular job throughout the course of the day. At night, they get home. They have barely enough time to grab something to eat, and then they find themselves out in the garage or they find themselves out in the shop.
Right.
And nobody in the household sees them. That's why I was kind of curious as to the situation of him. How much time does he actually get to spend at the house? And then that brought up the whole catastrophic thing of how much time during the racing season do you actually get to spend with him legitimately?
That's when you just go to the shop and help.
Okay.
That's the big thing
And
about
I
her.
like helping, you know.
That's the big thing about her. She's not afraid to grab a wrench.
Okay.
She is not afraid to grab a
And
wrench.
throw it at your head.
No.
Oh, okay.
She's never thrown it at me.
Yet.
Hey, there's a first time for everything.
Yet. There you go, John. Yet.
I've got a $5 bill right here.
Now, I overheard off-air talk. Your brother races?
Mm-hmm, yes, sir.
So you're a family female racer.
Mm-hmm.
Her dad did too.
Yes.
Okay, so you've
I
grown
grew
up.
up
This
at
you've
the
grown up
dirt
around
track.
this. Yeah, you've grown up around this, so it was
My
easy.
daddy raced for 30 years or more.
So it was easy for you to kind of understand what it was like from the racer's point of
Mhm.
view. It was
Yes.
really easy for you to get into
Oh,
their
yeah.
mentality then.
Yes, very much.
Advice?
We met at the dirt track. So.
Okay. Advice for somebody who gets into a relationship with a driver that hasn't got any clue what to expect.
That's a hard. Yeah, I don't know.
That's why they made therapy.
Well, yeah, that may be true.
You kind of have to experience to understand what it's all about.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
I
a good
could buy
point.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that.
Either you
definitely.
like it or you don't. I mean,
So you've kind of become you're extremely accustomed to seeing a loved one strap into the car and
Oh, yeah.
go at it. So it's just kind of
Yeah.
like it's.
I know
yeah,
they're
see you
safe
later.
in that car.
Right.
They're not moving in that seat.
Right.
Yeah.
And a really good roll cage, you know. So
Yeah. So, and I guess that pretty much answers the next question. How much do you worry about the safety aspect of it? You're not as bothered by it.
I'm not, because
as-
I
as
know
maybe
what
could
we
have.
have,
Yeah.
our safety equipment. So.
You'd rather see him in that race car than tooling down I-20 then.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I will stay straightforward. I feel better driving my car around a racetrack around 25. I'm not going to say idiots because there's a lot of good guys that race out there. I feel more comfortable on a racetrack than I do going to interstate.
I could see that, actually.
Well, there's plenty of idiots on the interstate,
Yeah.
I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I see him every day.
Now what? Now what about? Of course, you somewhere in there is like anger.
Oh,
so
yeah.
there's got to be that in there. If you, how do you
For
respond?
instance, last year when he was coming to the checkered flag, and I think we were running 6.
I was running. There was 23 of us that night, and I was running in the top 6 consistently the whole night.
Right.
Last lap, we come to the white flag, and I knew a guy was on me on the bottom. 'Cause I was working the top side the whole night long. All right. He stuck his nose under me and won. I seen him there. I said, "All right, he's there." So I had to, take my chances and just lay in the throttle twice as hard as I was the whole night long. Went in turn 3, I saw the same thing, but the car, I saw a little bit more of the car. I said, "All right, if it holds, it holds. If I make it, I make it." I come off of turn 4, and when I stop, I'm looking backwards.
Oh.
He duck hooks me coming off of 4.
Yeah.
Oh.
This one right here, when she come to the car and I saw red in her eyes, I said, "Don't say a word."
Hey, at least she didn't come to the car and she was green and go, Hulk smash!
Define duck hook, if you would, please.
Yeah.
Duck hook. Well, it's when you get hooked in the left rear. If a car hits you in the left rear and turns you, that's a term called duck hook.
Oh, we just saw that at the Ice Bowl here a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
we have.
For, was it, who was it that came across the line backwards?
Yeah, Riley Hickman.
Riley Hickman. He got duck hooked, didn't he?
No, he
got
spun
loose.
by himself.
He just spun.
He spun by himself.
Okay.
Yeah.
But she's really defensive if I get roughed up real bad on the track if somebody deliberately hits me.
Yeah.
She gets real defensive.
There's a difference in clean racing and, dirty racing, and that's just uncalled for.
Have you ever approached anybody with
No.
that anger.
No.
Yeah, yes, she
voiced
has.
your opinion.
Yes, she
Yes, she has.
has.
Yes, she has.
All right. She's saying she hasn't. What's your story?
She has. It was back when I was racing in Thunder, but she actually walked up at the same time while we was all talking.
Okay.
She was a little hot. That's all I can say. She was a little hot. But
I grew up with racing. I know the difference between clean racing and dirty racing, and that was bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got hit. It was pretty obvious I got hit deliberately.
Now, for you at the track during the weekends, do you stay in the stands more, or are you down at the hauler where he's at the whole time?
Well, if he needs my help, I stay close by. Otherwise, I like to sit up in the stands and watch some of the racing, because there's a lot of people that, that I grew up with that's out there racing too. So,
in this process of watching, have you ever had the opportunity to look at somebody and go, "Hey, Matt, watch out for this person who either is really, really good, or you maybe see somebody as being reckless or something like that. Hey, watch out for the number whatever."
So you're like a spotter.
She's
a spotter.
She is.
Yeah.
She is.
In some ways.
Yeah.
Cool.
She lets me know, like, you better watch out for.
And I
32.
learned a lot from my dad. Just
Mhm.
watching him and learning and listening, and and he helped Matt a lot too.
He did. Very much so.
Nice. How long you been racing?
This will be my 10th season.
Okay. And you two have been together?
This October we'll be married 6 years. We've been together 9.
Way to put him on the spot, Steve.
Like that, right? See, here's the thing. If somebody put me on the spot like that, I'd be doing math. I'd be like, wait a minute. Let me see. It was that.
That's when the presents get bigger.
But see,
Let me think about that.
we got engaged on Christmas Eve of 2010. And I thought, how am I going to, I always told myself, when I get ready to get engaged and give her a ring, I'm going to do it right and then go talk to Dad. Be right about it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, little old me, I picked going to the race car shop to talk to him.
Oh. Not a good thing, right?
No, I told her, I said, I've got to go. I said, I got something I need to go get a part number off the car I've got to order. So I went down there. She texted me. She said, sure it's taking a long time to get that part number. I said, yeah, I can't find it. I'm having to clean it off. And she still says to this day, I'd love to have been a fly on the wall in that shop.
Oh, me too. I'd love seeing that. What?
Google.
What?
I just happened to look up at the screen, and unfortunately the TV in there, John, doesn't work, but I happened to look up at the screen, and they were talking about free donuts.
Oh.
Talk about timing. It was just unreal. This is something that you will not escape today. I can tell you that.
I'm telling you,
now.
I got to make. I saw Krispy Kreme as I was heading in, and I was like, I'd love to have one of those right now. Now I know I should have.
Yeah, apparently.
Now I will on my way home.
But getting back to, okay, so how much of that are you willing to divulge, that little conversation that took place within the race shop?
It would take a while longer than this last 4 minutes that we have. But it was a good conversation. The simple gist of it was, anytime you need help, don't hesitate.
Okay.
That was pretty much it. He said, you got it. He said, take care of her. I said, you got it.
Nice.
Simple enough.
Got Dad's blessing.
That's all that
See,
mattered.
that's a good thing.
That's all that mattered.
With a wrench in his face.
No,
I'm
actually,
telling you
no.
right now.
Actually, no, he had a coffee cup in his hand.
Oh. That still could have hurt.
Moment to talk about it?
At least he had his coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You guys met at the track?
Yes.
At my dad's hauler.
2007 Southern All-Star. No. 2007 NASCAR weekend in the fall. He was parked beside, and it's just sad I remember this, but he was parked in between Bobby Labonte and Dennis Franklin.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And I was standing by the pit box, and she walked out there. We started talking, and the rest is history.
Nice.
Yep. The rest is history.
When you found out he was a budding racer, did that lead you to any caution, or did that make it easier for you to talk to him?
It made it easier.
Yeah.
Because, we like the same thing, so.
There you go.
Yep.
Well,
And it was automatically about racing.
And then
so.
she told him what he needs to do to get better. This is what you need to do. Okay.
Yeah, the night that I took the track championship in Thunder, she brought her whole family down there so we could get all one big picture when I claimed my first championship. I literally drove the wheels off the car that night.
Yeah.
The left rear axle snapped off, and I was on 3 wheels.
Oh, nice.
Leading the race.
Oops.
Yeah.
Well, they say, they always talk about the fact that, you always hear that noise or there's something that goes catastrophically wrong as you're coming to the end.
I started on the pole that night, and before I got in the car, Dad said, "Go get him, champ." And I was like, this is sinking in.
Yeah.
And my sister, before I put my helmet on, we always give each other a hug. She said, "Good luck," and give me a good luck kiss. No problem with that.
Hey, you can get them for free. I'm just telling you.
And then my sister tells me, she says, "Go out there and drive the wheels off of it."
Yeah.
And I come back on the record. She said, "I didn't mean literally." And I'm laughing the whole time. I'm going, I'm glad we took the picture before the wheel broke.
Yeah. Wow.
Nice.
It was, yeah. It
All right.
was interesting.
To this year, as we look ahead to this year, obviously you've got his situation where he's become part of the show. Plus, he's also doing this racing side of things. Your perspective on how things are going for him as far as the racing career and all the other aspects of it.
Things are going good, and I'm, looking forward to having our race car at Davy and Nikki Ponders. They've really helped us a lot. So
yep,
it's going to be an awesome year.
Yeah. All right.
It's going to get really busy for a few weeks, but we'll be all right.
And that's what I was about to ask. As you lead up here, you said that your first race is you're shooting for when?
Shooting for the end of February at the Winter Classic in Columbus, Mississippi.
Okay. Between now and then, what do you anticipate having to do?
Really not very much.
Yeah? You're pretty set?
Pretty set.
All right.
Hook up and go.
Now, do you go to every weekend with him? Every single weekend, no matter where he's going?
Yeah.
Now, if it gets really, really, really hot in the summertime, if she just wants to stay home, I'm like, it's completely fine because I know it's going to be brutal.
Yeah.
But, hey, I don't force her to come. She comes at her own will, but she shows up every week.
And then she complains.
No.
It's hot.
She really don't.
No.
She really doesn't. She doesn't complain. She's a real trooper.
Okay, someone that don't know how to spell donut.
And there it is. Ladies and gentlemen, on that note.
Final stab of the day. Thanks so much.
Right.
Yeah.
Got it in.
I don't like her anymore.
Thank you very much for coming in. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Very much. Matt, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Dustin?
Yeah. Let's just
You
take
okay
it on.
over there?
Yeah, I'm good. Let's just take it on.
Yeah, we're out of here. John, thank you very much for everything, you guys. Thank you very much for checking us out here on the fastest hour in radio. OT90, The Coaches Show, is next. See ya!